Welcome back to the stream, and welcome back to the Analyst Desk. I'm your host, still TurboTabs. With me has been TomTom, and obviously we welcome back Epoli to his lovable position as analyst. Hi there, Epoli. Had a great time casting?
It was good. I think it nearly killed my voice. Top 5 and Sons may be the reason why I can't speak tomorrow, but I feel like it was worth it.
Yeah. I feel like they were paying back what they owed to you. You know that one, that one product game where it was like a bit lackluster, and they were like, "Oh, should we just save it all for that?" Yeah, okay, all right.
Kunu did say he did it, just to make my predictions slightly less wrong.
Now, before we go into it, boys, I just got a hilarious story that I feel like I have to, just partake with you just before we go into our next game. It was regarding that last game with Top 5 Sons. Kunu just showed me a text message with his dad, and he was wishing him luck and all this stuff. And basically, his dad just sent him "Snipe the Medic." And I like to believe, that the story is he just went, "Oh no, we're losing this game. What are we gonna do? That's genius!" And then he just goes and does it. All right, okay, I just wanted to throw that out there. All right, okay, let's get into our upper bracket game, because this is a winners stream. We're full of winners here on the panel, and we're going to talk about the winners here of all these bracket games. That's Ascent.NA and 7. I mean, I know, don't be shocked. Don't be too shell-shocked, guys. I know, really shocking results here at the I-Series. But, I mean, it has been a quite shocking set of days, so let's go into it, the usual bunch. All right, so these two teams... Any first impressions, anything you want to kind of say out of the game? Maybe you want to even talk about the sort of result itself. Is the upper bracket match like this kind of surprising to you two?
Not necessarily. I mean, we expected Ascent.NA and 7 to do a really good performance here and come very far in the tournament. So it's not necessarily surprising to see this specific matchup as a potential winners finals match. However, it will be interesting to see how things play out. Obviously, Ascent.NA won out a fairly close game in the group stages with 7, but we also know 7 to be a very adaptable team, so the question will be how much can 7 do to stop what Ascent.NA has been doing so far. They obviously have shown that their playstyle is still definitely worth going for against a team like, for example, Feint, where they also won. 7 on the other hand had as their matchup in the same round, Ascent EU, which is typically one you expect them to win at this point. They have done it so many times, they've always done well. I think the scorelines were fairly in 7's favor. I think like 7-3, 6-1 on Badlands and Sunshine, I believe. So 2 really strong results, and 7 doing well against high-level opponents still is a good starting sign, but obviously Ascent.NA is the unknown quantity here for everybody.
Is this Epoli now? Is this more than definitely the person we're going to see on that grand final stage, or do you think that, Ascent.NA kind of just managed to stroll into that winners bracket?
No, I feel like with the way that groups went, it really was kind of everyone kind of beating everyone. It was really weird. The way that playoffs has gone so far, I feel like this is kind of it's a symptom of, obviously, these guys were kind of in the correct places within the brackets to kind of meet each other in this game now. You know, the seeding kind of worked out in one of the most interesting ways, I think. Obviously, you know, the fact that we get to see Seven play kind of, you know, NA's representative now is really, really interesting, just a kind of, you know, EU versus NA kind of storyline. But I don't think it's a case that you can kind of look at this and be like, well, you know, it's definitely going to be Seven versus Ascent NA in the grand finals once again, because the problem is Ascent EU and Feint, they're just still too good. Like, I know we've obviously kind of seen the results that we've seen, but I mean, I think it would have been really interesting today to see Ascent NA versus Ascent EU, right? You know, Seven, the issue is Seven knows Ascent EU too well. I actually think maybe we would have had a very different situation if we'd seen Seven versus Feint in a best of 3 and Ascent EU versus Ascent NA in a best of 3, right? Because those matchups are far more a case of like the play styles kind of clash really heavily. They're far more unknown quantities for each other, and it kind of, you know, could have caused some very different things. So honestly, I still really, really think everything's to play for in terms of grand finals. I feel like we could have both these teams in the grand finals tomorrow, or we could have neither.
I know. I'm glad you're bringing that up, because again, this is the winner bracket, upper bracket winners. It still decides who gets sent to that lowers bracket final. There's still a second chance for this. So do you think any of these teams are going to be having that in the back of their mind, thinking, you know, it's not the end of the world we lose. We don't have to go all out. Maybe we can take things a bit relaxed. Do you think that's a good lifeline for them to have, Dum Tum, or do you think that's a bad thing for them to have? Do they need to go all out, do you think, more?
I think neither of these teams will think about it with the lifeline in mind. They want to win this. They probably are well aware of maps that are troublesome or certain things that are weaknesses that they just cannot that they can flat out avoid. If they just don't even have the map pick disadvantage in grand finals, they can just play slightly in their favor from the beginning. Sure, it's reassuring to know that after the fact that you still have a second chance, but you don't want to let it come to it if you need to.
Equally, do you reveal your maps at this point? Do you feel like you still treat this like those group games where you just still throw out any old map, or just go for those maps that you will want to try some stuff on? Maybe even just like working them a bit? Or is this, you need to take things winners upper bracket final advantage seriously at this point and just go all in with your, you know, your best maps that you reckon?
I think it's too important of a game to hold back when it comes to maps. I feel like maybe some weird strats you can still kind of keep in the bottom of your folder. Map-wise, I don't think you can afford to do anything other than kind of banning, you know, their best maps and really going for your best, right? Like, it's just, it's too important what this means. Obviously, you know, both these teams, the best case scenario for them is to spend as much of tomorrow kind of, you know, getting some practice in and getting some opportunities to kind of, you know, look at some demos and kind of, you know, discuss their game plan. Like, realistically speaking, I think both teams are going to want to try and spend as little time kind of fighting for their tournament life tomorrow and spend as much time kind of preparing, because there's always going to be opportunities to scrim other teams as well. You know, there's always going to be chances to do that, so it won't be a case of they won't get to play tomorrow. I think it's just too important of a game to let anything really slide.
All right, boys, this is usually the part in the YouTube or the VOD land where people start skipping to this point. You know, they've kind of went through all that fun. Yes, day one was very fun. Yes, all those really close games, the Golden Cap and whatnot, but YouTube people just care about the ending. So at this point, you might have, let's just take it from the top. Let's talk about both of these teams like nobody's ever seen them before. So Epley, I'm going to ask you, why should we care about Seven? How are Seven doing in this tournament so far?
So Seven have been looking really, really good, right? As a roster, Seven is Europe's finest, at least as far as ETF12 is concerned, and Copenhagen the most recent LAN. You know, Seven has an established roster full of veterans of the game. You know, many of their players, you know, Cadus, Stark, Raymond, these guys have been playing for, you know, like they've been playing Prem for longer than half of the current players have been playing TF2 full stop, right? You know, when they were playing Prem, half of everyone else, you know, didn't even like pick up competitive TF2, right? So many of these players are just such established kind of legacy figures within the scene. And as a result, they're so defined with how they play, right? They have obviously an incredible strategic leader in the form of Cadus, who has such an intense, specific theory of how he thinks the game should operate. As a result, he will lead his team almost with like an iron fist, but in such a way as to get the most out of his players and the most out of his team. They're always thinking of how to approach the situation in the smartest possible way. They're always looking to counter teams wherever possible, and they're always looking to enhance their own strengths, right? And obviously going into this, Ascent NA, they're going to know a decent amount, but it's really one of the most exciting things because Ascent NA, for the side of Seven, are still really, really an unknown variable in this competition.
Yeah. I mean, Dum Tum, that's why you're here. You're here to make that unknown variable a little less unknown. Why should we, who are Ascent.NA and how did they even get to this position?
They are obviously, coming in here as the second best team in America right now, and it really shows today how well they actually can perform under these circumstances here. They had an incredible performance, really, really close games with Feint earlier today, and it really shows that the playstyle they have keeps up with everything Europe has to offer. They play fairly aggressive by all standards here, and I would put them somewhere in the middle between Feint and Ascent EU in that regard. They, especially against Feint, they've shown that they are well aware of what is safe and what isn't when they go in deep, when they make their plays, which is incredibly important against a team like Feint, which is why it did work out in the end. A lot of times, Feint tried their plays, and everybody was already well out of any sort of reach for any danger on Ascent and A. They were well aware of these sort of things. So as much as they are offensively a powerhouse, defensively, they are very aware of their surroundings, and for 7 that could make taking small opportunities and go with them all the way a lot harder.
Now, boys, I mean, I know it's Team Fortress 2, but I like a bit of Solo Fortress as well. Let's talk about some of these players just in isolation. Now, in isolation, who jumps out at you as the strongest player in this server? Who's the person that people are going to be shouting the name of in the crowd this evening?
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to say the name on everyone's lips. It's Slemnish. Slemnish is absolutely, he's been just incredible this LAN. It's been ridiculous, right? The way you know that he's genuinely playing incredibly is when Mailer, the owner of the team, came up to me after one of the games and was like, actually, I genuinely didn't know Slemnish was going to be this incredible on LAN. He didn't even expect it himself. He's been watching that team since they were created.
Yeah.
And yet
he's a top-level player himself as well.
Exactly, and yet he looks at a player like Slemnish and he's just owning every single game that he's played. He's such a driving force within his team, and looking up to the LAN, I was making some predictions that Slemnish was incredible. We kind of saw that the second they started the boot camp, it was seen that Slemnish was actually absolutely taking over games. But I was making the predictions of what if Slemnish has an off game, right? Well, he hasn't had one yet, right? He hasn't had an off game basically at LAN so far. He hasn't really had he's had slightly quieter where he only plays really well instead of exceptionally well. But that's been it, right? That's been the lowest power level we've seen from him. It's crazy that there's someone that consistently good playing on LAN.
Dumtum, please, what's the EU superpower to kind of deal with Slemnish? We must have our equivalent, right?
I think when we're just talking about raw consistency, it's a two-way tie between Captain and Raymond for me. Captain, you never see him really have a bad game. He always just plays incredibly. He's super aware of whatever's going on in the game and always makes his life be so worthwhile for the rest of the team to just get as much mileage out of it every time he commits to any play. Raymond, as the medic, obviously is highly important to stay alive, and I've talked to many people, and every time the topic of Raymond as a medic comes up, it just they describe him as so hard to kill. It almost feels like he just has twice the HP as every other medic and just is able to dodge things that shouldn't be dodgeable, and stuff like that. Just obviously maybe slightly exaggerated, but it still comes from a place where people are fully aware that his mechanical skill to stay alive in situations is just incredible.
Now, guys, there's a reason why this is usually the second most watched VOD of any tournament, upper bracket finals. I don't know what it is about the allure of just having that top player team that's coming from the grand final as well, but I think it has something to do with all the lines cross in TF2 LAN with this, because it's usually played on the latest portion of the day where you've got this stamina sort of going against you. You've got the fact, the pressure as well. This is the point where Premier TF2 is really kicking in, and you've got the point where some of these players are adrenaline, other parts that we can never really talk about in an ETF2 Worldcast because people don't take it that seriously, and I want to get more into that side of it today. Have you guys have any sort of idea or maybe kind of curiosity or knowledge about what adrenaline does to when it kicks into a player when they're playing TF2 or playing a video game at this level?
Yeah, you probably have better experience in that regard.
A little bit. Okay, so based on the experiences of specifically what I've seen at this LAN, when players get in that situation, I feel it's easy to get in a situation where you get excited and you kind of start losing control, right? But there's a lot of players, a significant amount of players specifically within TF2, where when they really start feeling themselves, when they start playing with confidence, when they get that adrenaline going, it allows them to almost kind of hyper-focus, right? The best example I'm going to say is there was an old game, back in the days of Clockwork when he played, right? a specific Viaduct game where the dude dropped like 60 frags, right? It was like 450 DPM, something along those lines, right? And he was saying that all that happened, right, was that he just decided he wanted to win, right? He really got himself like hyped up to win, and all he did was he just went into like a hyper-focus mode of, I'm going to get those guys, I'm going to listen to every single focus call, I'm just going to focus on targets, take everything step by step by step, right? You can get in a lot of situations like that. Having watched Ascent NA from behind them just a little bit earlier on today, they really do get in that position a lot of the time. They're the kind of team where the more they get into a game, the louder their comms get, right? And not in a cluttered way, but in a powerful kind of commanding, we can do this. It's not a case of, you know, we should be moving forward. It's a case of we will be moving forward. We're going to take this position. We're going to move forward. We're going to get this frag. We're going to guarantee this advantage. Then we're going to win that round. Put another one up on the board, right? Seven's a slightly different beast, right? They'll let themselves get hyped, but they'll never let things go too far. Cadis is always the kind of player where his team can get excited. He's perfectly happy to let that happen. But when they start going over that line, he's always there to rein them back in. Because sometimes if you get a little bit overhyped, you get a bit too much adrenaline going, you can get something like, you know, some kind of like little hand tremors, some kind of, you know, not quite thinking what's going on properly. Sometimes you can get so caught up in your own kind of hype that you don't listen to the rest of your players. You don't listen to what your team's doing. You start going against the game strategy. And specifically for 7, you cannot go against the strategy, right? Because that's the strength of the team. So I feel like the hype's going to affect different players in different ways. However, it's still going to, it's going to be significant enough for each, right?
Yeah. I know I'm being really cruel to you boys because I know we've only heard like fabled stories. We've heard like accounts of pro players and stuff like that. They're passing it around like, oh, did you feel it then? It's like, yeah, I did feel it. But like, how much would you say like that hype feeling goes against a solid plan? Like, would you value Dum Tum like a solid plan or like good, stable like accounts? Or would you much prefer just a player popping off in that adrenaline sort of environment?
It's definitely player dependent, and like Ipili said, it needs to be in a healthy degree. You can't let it get too far. That being said, obviously it very much has proven to be a good thing more often than not. Alba's obviously not here anymore, but him and Busker in the past have always been a good example of that. They always just like got energy from the crowd being excited about the games being close, and they somehow managed to get crazy upset that way in previous lands. We just now had a great example as well with Kuno just stepping up for the team when it was almost looking over already. So
yeah, if that's not a game to make you believe in generally, I don't know what is. But
Exactly.
dear me. So is there ever a time, I know we touched upon it slightly, I know we're kind of still going on this topic, but we don't get many times to talk about this LAN environment. So the bad effects of it. Now, what are some examples, maybe even points in time that you remember where like a player was going a bit too much with it, like someone that's not thinking straight, anything like that that comes to mind in these sort of LAN history moments?
In terms of LAN history, I'll have to think for a couple of seconds more. The first one, when he said, you know, moments where you get slightly caught up in your own nonsense was, wasn't there a moment fairly recently in an TF2 game when AMS ran up to the enemy spawn, taunted, instead of capping the point, and then they basically wiped it and cap it, and that was that. And yeah, I think at that point his team forcibly made him unbind the taunt button, right? Not joking, genuinely, it's ridiculous. In TF2, the taunt is actually powerful, but sometimes you just got to unbind it. I feel like this is a game where you unbind it.
All right, okay. Well, we should be going underway soon. I think we've got all the players into the server there. They've got the little grudge match. They've probably done their little chants, and they've really gotten excited for this game. But I want you guys to get excited for the result. I want you to know who's going to win this game. Just flat out, not even maps. Who's going to win?
God.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to be the EU fanboy here. I believe in 7. They have done the homework. They are well prepared. Let's see how it goes.
All right, we're going for EU.
I'm going to say EU as well, but
EU.
51-49.
Disgusting, guys. Disgusting, biased analysts. This is why nobody from America watches this show. Okay.
I love you, America. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm going to go with the Americans. I think they've got this. They're going to make the history books. Let's go. Come on, Kermit. Come on, Grumpy Koi. Who's going to win?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Grumpy Koi. I'm joined by Kermit as my co-caster. And yes, we've got a great matchup between Ascent NA and 7. Kind of the powerhouses, the boys that everyone kind of wanted to see to face off. And it's going to be extremely entertaining to watch, really, for both of us, 100%.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be one of the... This is probably a preview of the grand finals. Like, we'll probably see this exact game happen about 24 hours from now.
Yeah, this is kind of the prelude.
Yeah.
Both, like, the most interesting thing is how closely Ascent NA won out in the end against Feint. They met Feint to golden caps on both maps.
I think that's like the second time I've like literally ever, not even on land, just ever seen a golden cap won by just the team, like the golden cap timing out and the team having mid that wins. Like I've not, like, 'cause that's what happened. I think Gullywash was map 3 and that was like the last, because it was, yeah, because that's when, just because the desk were talking about it, Slemnish went huge.
Yeah, oh my god.
Like, I think I was standing behind him, it was like 90 seconds left on the map, on the golden cap. They didn't have mid, and Slemnish just walks down river, and he knows that Seeds is like hiding behind the point. He's on sniper, he somehow gets a drop on him, headshots a scout, I think, after that, drops down to big door, gets a soldier, and then like another 50 damage on someone, dies, and like he's just won them the easy cap on second, and then like mid.
Yeah, and
I'd say single-handedly won like Gullywash for them, and he's like the reason that they're in this game right now.
100%. And going up against a team like Seven is going to be very interesting, because I had a call interview with Skis actually in regards to this, and he described, and I think you'll agree with this, the three major teams in very distinct ways. So Seven are the cold and calculated team. That's how he described them.
Yep,
you've got Ascent EU, which is just chaos.
Yep.
And then you've got Feint, which is somewhere in between. They're controlled chaos.
Yeah.
And more akin to kind of how Ascent play, like Ascent NA, they are controlled chaos as well. They're that sort of play style, and that seems to work really well against Seven. Chaos doesn't, controlled doesn't, but somewhere in between, you get that sweet spot, and Seven can struggle. So I'm kind of interested in like Turbo's opinion of it being an Ascent game, because the way that Seven play in general is so cold and calculated that if something breaks that flow and they're not able to play their game, and that's how Ascent played against Feint, is they just didn't let Feint play their game.
Yeah.
If you don't let Seven play their game, they are going to struggle, and it will be very interesting.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we're going to have a look at the clock, and then we may be going into a game. I don't know. I like clocks. Yeah, it's good to know the time. I don't actually own a watch, so something you found out about me.
Technology, phones have replaced watches.
Yeah, exactly.
One these days.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Like I learned about quartz watches at one point, and they're pretty cool. So that's entertaining. But we are going to be going live soon on the map. I'm not 100% sure what it is, because we haven't been able to get the analysis desk onto it. But we will have a quick look at that in a moment. But what do you think? Like, if, let's say, I think the first map is going to be Gullywash. So matchup, you got the calculated calm playstyle of Seven versus the controlled chaos of Ascent. Who's going to take that first map?
Going just by how close the Ascent NA game was with Feint Gaming on Gullywash, I'm going to give the edge to Seven. Like, I've not actually seen many of their games on Gullywash. Every time I go and like sit behind Seven, I swear it's always Granary. Like, I swear to God, like mostly every game Seven I've played at this LAN has been on Granary.
Well,
I've got no idea really what their Gullywash plays like.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
Probably just as strong as they are on most other maps.
I just found out that we're actually going to be doing a Gullywash Snakewater, which we all know
They have gotten better at it.
They have.
They would ban it over any other map. Like, I'm pretty sure last I-Series finals, they banned that over Sunshine against Froyotech and just straight up lost. They got rolled because they were that bad on Snakewater that they thought their Sunshine was better, and they just lost instantly.
And actually,
it's good to know they have improved.
And the funny thing is, that's the decider. The decider is going to be Sunshine. So we've got very interesting. Sunshine I've always personally considered as a very staple NA map.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be as European as other maps personally.
And the thing is, it's been played, I don't know how many seasons, but it's been played here for at least a good few years now, I feel.
Yeah, but it just never...
It still feels like it's like the North American map.
Yeah, it's
like, even like Metalworks made a comeback this season in EU. It's not been played since like season 17. People don't even know that it's been played in EU ever. It just seems like it's one of those maps that's just an NA map.
And it is interesting, because with Sunshine, that again throws this real, like, you can't be as calculated on that as you can on the maps. It does favour that chaos, because you've always got 3 entries.
Yeah.
At any point, you've got cafe, you've got choke, and then you've got flowers.
Yeah.
And that always makes it a very interesting like fight. And then you've got that even when you're pushing into last and when you're dealing with like holding last, you've got dungeon, you've got lower right hand side, and you've got left into top right as well. You've got multiple things to deal with.
Oh, yeah, you always do, yeah.
And it can be an absolute nightmare, so it will be interesting. But on the Gully Wash, it's going to be down to how bot mode, and I always say this about Gully Wash, but it's going to be about how bot mode and Cadus start their mid fights, how they're going to deal that damage.
It's just such a like demo-friendly mid-fight. Like demo can get there before the combo, for the enemy combo can. Like the medic will always pretty much always catch at least one sticky. If they're slow for like any reason, there's going to be a second one, and that's their the med's mid pretty much over. They take like 2 good stickies. That's like maybe up to 80 damage. They're one-shottable by any other class at that point, and it's all just because the demo managed to like nail the rollout and nail a couple of stickies.
Yeah, that's so important, especially with the way that the map really opens up for options with your soldiers. Like, a lot of people just think the best way to play it is just to send your Roma up, drop down, and that's pretty much it, deal with the demo. But I feel on the boss crew, Aubriac plays actually played really well this series. Like, I got to cast him this morning. And one thing he did is he went for a big bomb attempt. Didn't work, so he just went into the lower area, and this is definitely someone like Laz will be thinking about this, is he waited to hear the damage calls. You could see he just paused, he made sure that he wasn't getting pressured by any scouts, and he waited for that opportunity to come back in, and they crushed. He got 4 kills off that play. And it's so important to play that style, especially against someone like Seven, is getting that moment, like reacting to those moments where you catch them off guard. Because if you just play into them, if you just push into them, they will just deal with you easily. They'll call you out. Captain will be just hitting everything as he usually does. Very, very good as a stalwart pocket. And then you've got Thalash, who's one of, if not the best, like pocket scout.
Yeah.
Definitely in regards to, you know, wins in general.
Yeah.
Like, especially like Prem, ETF2L Prem, he's probably got the most wins as pocket scout on it than anyone. And even though you don't see him pop off, like, for example, Tomas that already has popped off, he's so consistent. He's always there. He's always causing a huge amount of pressure release off Raymond. And that's why Raymond can play so well, because he doesn't have anything to deal with. And you'll see in so many fights that Raymond will be out way before anyone's even able to pressure him. And it's not because he's holding too far back. He's holding in the right spot, but his team is creating that space for him to leave. They're like, we're not going to win this. Let's get Raymond out. And I think that's something that on a Sentinel Ace, Skis likes to play that more aggro style.
Oh, yeah.
He really enjoys that. And that is kind of interesting because on Feint, they play that aggro style, but Seeds is not an aggro medic.
Yeah, Seeds is probably like the most passive medic that I think I've actually like ever seen, minus Perm. Minus Perm's out. Seeds is probably the most passive medic I've seen.
Yeah, 100%. And with that like Seeds combo, it's interesting because when Seeds does, you know, kind of come out of his comfort zone and go in on those aggressive pushes, it works so well. Whilst I feel like because the way Skis likes to play with bot mode, and you've got Slemnish as well, who's playing very, very strong this season so far, like, if they get those moments where they can be fully aggressive and cause, you know, get the picks, get those push coming through chokes and stuff like that, it will be incredible just to see that reaction. I want to see how Seven are going to deal with it, because it's super easy for them to deal with Ascent EU because they play them all the time.
Yeah.
Feint, they play them all the time. Ascent.NA had a rough start, and like, I kind of spoke to them because I was just super interested because I don't know as much about them. And they felt like yesterday was more like scrims to them, is kind of what they said. It felt like more like we were just feeling everything out, understanding what the kind of rock, paper, scissors dynamic of our scene is, and now they want to play against it. And that to me is scary, because imagine if we're at an ice series and Seven don't make it to the grand final. Like, that will be such a weird situation to be in, and it will be good for the NA boys to get to that point, because they've got the ability to do it, and they're confident enough to make that happen, 100%. But I hope we're going to be going live soon. Have we got any feedback at the moment? I'm just trying to know what's going on. It's just mainly because I'm so excited. I just want the game to start. It's not a case of, this isn't just like, oh yeah, no, here we go again. This is like the grudge match. This is the two continents smashing against each other. And I really want to see how they... I really, really want to see how... I really just want to see who wins, because we've had the Froyo 7 sort of battles throughout the ages, and now we've got a new team to play against that we don't know. Like, and that's not a bad thing. We're not saying that in a bad thing, but a lot of these guys, it's their first time in the UK. It's their first time hanging out with us. Actually, speaking to Yai, I found out something. He's a fan of Greg's.
That's good. You know, if he fits right in.
Yeah, exactly.
90% of Britain. That's good to know.
Yeah, so that's the most important thing. You know, you can't hate a man who loves a good Greg's.
You know, it was like I think was maybe last year or the year before, there was an interview with Froyo in LAN, and someone said, "What's your least favourite thing about the UK?" And I think Yomps just said the food.
Yeah.
So now we've got another American over, and they like at least.
They like
Greg's.
They have said. They have said every.
Part of the culture.
He said it's not that it's amazing gourmet food, but for what it is, it's amazing. And I agree. You know, 100%. Like
cheaper, it does the job.
Yeah, exactly.
It
and
wasn't sponsored.
This wasn't sponsored, by the way. It's just nice to talk about Greg's. For those who aren't joining us from the UK, Greg's is a sort of like fast food pastry place, and you know, I think it's got a bit of love and respect, especially from Scotland, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like there's like a deluxe Greg's down Buchanan Street in Glasgow, like the mega Greg's in the shopping mall, and it's massive.
It's amazing how they've somehow become upscale enough to have like seats inside.
Yeah, it's like a restaurant.
That's a bizarre thing to me. Yeah, they offer a seat-in a dine-in option.
Oh.
I'm gonna have.
Oh yeah, we're in a TF2 LAN.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Just
funny that.
Yes. Suddenly thinking about Greg's, and I've just completely lost it.
Yeah.
We do have a server, but we haven't got the connect to it. There does seem like there seems to be 12 people in.
There are 12 people on the server, so
we just need the need the connect.
It looks like there's been some problem with Cadis's PC, because he's been on the server for 90 seconds compared to the 22 minutes of Laz.
That is the definition of what LAN events is. I've heard that many people have had interesting problems with their PCs. I know some people that have had to replace their PCs a couple of times, and it is sometimes just a combination of nothing that really anyone can expect. In the production area, we got a new SD card, nearly caught fire. You know, we nearly burned the place down. So classic TF2, you know, causing a ruckus. So it's nothing to do with me. I'm not responsible for that. It's nothing to do with me. It was just a technical issue. But okay, that's a little bit too much, guys. But from there, really. You know what? Let's talk about the other maps. So we've broken down Gully. Let's just go on Snakewater now. Let's just do some more analysis. I know that's not our job. Sorry, guys. Yep. We're stealing jobs here. But we've got Snakewater next.
Yeah. We're going to have a quick look here on PC.
All right. So do you want to talk about Snake? Do you want to have a quick...
Just having a quick look through Stark's logs there. They haven't... Seven have not played Snakewater yet on this LAN.
Have they not?
They have not. No, their last game was 3 days ago. So it was just.
Oh, yeah.
PC
yeah, because I'm thinking of the grand final, aren't I? Because I'm thinking of the Prem grand final, thinking that it was that LAN, but it wasn't. So, yeah, they haven't actually played.
Yeah, and no Snakewater. So I got no, like, sort of LAN logs to, like, base any sort of guesses off.
But it's the last pushes that notoriously they struggle with.
Yeah.
And Ascent have proven that they're pretty good at holding last on maps. I think we saw them play, actually just double check just before we go to a break. I just want to have a look and see if we can have a look at if Ascent and A have actually done any Snake and see what their results has been.
Yeah, but it was against one of the open bracket teams, so...
Oh, okay, so that's nothing we can really go off, but...
Got a cheeky 800...
Actually, as we've told, we've got a game, so welcome everyone. We're going on to Gully Watch, we're going on to this mid-fight, and right now Captain is in the low ground. Bot mode has gone down to a bomb from Salentes, and Cadis getting pressured out, pressure going in, Last going down as well, as Seven start cleaning up Ascent players, and they're going forward now. Only Slemnish and Yite left alive with skis in tow, and that's going to be the first mid of this upper bracket final, going to 7. Anything we're gonna add, or you just getting into the server now?
Trying to get into the server myself, I'll be honest.
Yeah, that's understandable. But right now we've got Ascent holding on to their last, and now we're gonna have to see how they can handle the calm and calculated 7 roster, as they're gonna be looking to look at an opportunity to go in, checking for maybe we're going to see them sending in Starkey. So during the Prem Grand Finals, one thing that was constantly happening was Starkey was in water, creating that distraction. If they do that, then Salentis bombs over the top, and they get so much time on the point to begin with. But right now we're seeing just exchanges.
Might be a double bomb. It looks like Sil might go from River and Captain might go from the balcony. And one of the few times I did manage to actually see Seven playing a non-granary map, that's what they did like to do. It's just like something that, oh, actually Laz goes down there. And we are now going to see Stark going water now. That's the distraction play, and like we're going to have either. Oh no, he's just out. I guess because Captain died, they don't want to lose a second soldier.
That's incredibly understandable. They need to make sure that if they're making these plays, that they are really consistent, because Ascent have that real good, like, explosive energy, and they could coast to coast this at any second. 7 don't want to risk that. They want to stay in control. And we know they're not a team that likes to take unnecessary risks, Kermit. It's all about, you know, just making sure that Cadus is happy that his playbook is being played to a T. And right now, it just, again, looking for that angle. I think they're going to maybe rotate and try and deal with that sentry gun.
Main. He's just in sneaky underneath the team. Like, the sentry gun doesn't cover main properly, so Clash is in here just completely free. Like, they have no idea that he's here.
No, they have no idea. And he's starting a bait point. This is a really good opportunity as the Ascent players do drop on, but now we see the bomb come up and he manages to get the dispenser, but that's hardly anything. And they are going to have to back out as Ascent looking to come forward. They have the 2-player advantage. Cadus already trapping it up, but they're looking like they're going River, trying to pressure left and right. They need to be absolutely perfect with this push out. They lose Jay. They're going to have to backpedal almost instantly.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the last push, like, Slemnish was in lobby there, I think, with bot mode. Like, when you push out of Gully Wash last, you really need just only demo in lobby so that your scout can go River with your medic and you can get out onto second, like, in good time. So you can actually start that cap. But instead, Slemnish was in lobby and...
Oh, Starkey gets cleaned up by Laz in water. And that does mean that, once again, they could be looking at sending someone in. Bot mode, getting pressured by Thalash, getting some support, but they're not able to translate it into a sack attempt. Maybe sending someone through River. Looks like Laz may be looking to go towards that area, but they're going to be very, very slow with this. They don't want to... It's so dangerous to push out, especially on this map, because this is like the EU gimmick map when it comes to back caps, Kermit.
I'm honestly surprised that they didn't, like, Stark died there and they didn't push out. I'm surprised that he didn't just off-class to, like, Spire Sniper. Slemnish has picked up a rifle here on Sniper, though. He's going to try and peek River. He might actually, yeah. Lucky he took as much damage as he did before he could get in. He would have probably just died to the 3 people. And Stark pressure on point again.
Yeah, and there's actually the very, very terrifying Slemnish sniper up. And he does get Salentes, so that's 1 pick. Starkey deciding to backpedal out is going to get cleaned up, so that's 2. Slemnish showing his prowess on Sniper. This was the map that he went off earlier today, but he's now gone to 3 HP. Captain pressuring him perfectly, nearly cleaning him up. And that, again, because he's not getting any further picks than that, only taking down the 2, they need to be careful as Captain is just pressuring them up in River right now really, really well. Captain is going to go down to jumping away from the headshot. Salentes now replacing him, and Jay is going to go down to Salentes and his pressure from spamming. And they look like they want to try and catch some Ascent players out, but they're not able to catch that. And things are going to fizzle up. And we're going to see a very classic sort of situation with second being owned by 7 and Ascent waiting.
You know, it's one thing, like, many, like, especially Feint, I love the fact that they do this, they run banners, like, all the time. Like, if that had been Pappy that had died there, pushing last, not Captain, Pappy would probably have come up on a banner. Like, I don't see any reason for them for 7 years to not do it. Jay going down there.
Yeah, that's 2 down, and I think Starkey's already underneath, and he's started the cap, and he's trying to pull players behind. He's got bot mode sticking up that area, but he's not actually there. Starkey waiting for the opportunity, baiting point again, trying to bait those sticks. And we see 7 coming in. They managed to force the Uber out of skis, and they haven't used their own. Cadus and Captain, the only surviving members, though. So they've got what they needed. They're backpedaling out. They're getting pressured by Slemnish. And Slemnish is going to get absolutely crushed by Captain. And maybe a bomb coming from Laz, but he decides to back away. And that was actually a really good force out of 7.
Yeah, it was just like the 2 picks, they know they can get in for basically free. They got the sentry gun as well, so that's only just going back up now. I'm not sure. I think Cirque had switched off on his scout. He killed Sill on the point, and he's just only just gotten up on injury to get a sentry gun.
And they are going to be coming in on this right-hand side. They've managed to push the players away, but the sentry gun has been rotated into a really good spot. Laz has actually managed to do it, but it's going to be the first round going to 7.
Oh, that was almost huge for Laz. He in a 1v2 got Stark and Sill there underneath in water. It could have been a great hold, but nothing on the point, and Flash just gets a free cap.
One very interesting thing is Sen actually rotated their sentry gun and pyro placement to the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Which is we haven't really seen that on Snake Quarter before, so that's really, really impressive as Cadus deals a decent amount of damage as Slenters actually bombs in to try and capitalize off it, and so as Captain. But that's still
in for free on Raymond. The Lash was nowhere to be seen. He's cleaning him up now, but the damage is done.
Yeah, the damage has been done, and Cadus has gone down. Thalash trying to make the play, but he's going to get cleaned up, and that's a wipe on mid. Ascent doing a good job on that mid fight. Really, really well done. Even though the damage was put onto them, they dealt with those soldiers very well, Kermit.
Yeah, Sill and Stark went down just so quickly, and then Captain tried to follow up Sill, but there was no real damage to actually follow up, and then there was just nothing that Seven could really do. They should have cut their losses and left, but Talash was just a bit too far forward towards the big door and just left Raymond just alone, basically, in his own choke.
And right now we're going to see an exact reverse situation. So instead of 7 being on last, it's going to be Ascent ready to push onto their last. And that's really important. They've got that Uber advantage. They need to take this really, really quickly so they don't lose it. They need to get on to Raymond if it does fail. They're looking to go through drop down. This is interesting. Slemish leading the charge. The sentry gunner has been up for a really long time. Really good job at denying that. Their baiting point, Cadus, is coming up now. Laz is going to be the first one to go down. And it looks like 7 are holding this pretty well. But bot mode gets Salentes, and he also, Slemnish, manages to use his body to kill Cadus, but it's not going to be enough. Ubers are going to go up to 7, and they've hold last, relatively well. They've lost a few players, more than I would have expected, for the way they tried to handle that, Kermit.
Yeah, it was a really, this is something that Ascent didn't do, I guess, at all there on their last hold. They didn't have anyone playing underneath on the point there, except Laz having the demo holding underneath. Actually, speaking of that, Jay's just in. Onto Raymond. Does manage to avoid both the rockets from Laz that get fired off there.
Yeah, that's really important that Raymond actually managed to stay alive. It's very much been to and fro, but Ascent are looking like they're going to have to back out. They're going to lose their middle point as well, and 7 just almost bringing this to a coast-to-coast as a result of that push onto their last. Feels like Ascent made too many mistakes during it. And now 7 are looking a lot stronger, in a decent position to push in. Ubers are equal though, so actually we're going to have a classic little bit of an exchange. Look for that opportunity to get the force out of their opposing medics. So how are they going to do it, Kermit?
This is basically just where Stark got their reputation for being like the flank scout that is just always will be behind. Like, he's getting a buff right now. I can almost guarantee he is sitting thinking at his desk that he wants to go behind and lower.
Yeah, that's
and then just try and work a pick like with Captain or with Sill.
Yeah,
try and get something done on the flank to drag people out of position. If Stark can drag people out of position, like to chase him on last, then it means that there's less people holding choke or holding big door. So there we can see Sill is going behind now instead of Stark.
Yeah, so they've actually used Sill for the distraction. Starkey is still watching big door, and yeah, just having a player behind makes life a lot harder. Sill is very, very deep. He's actually on the last of Ascent, so. If Ascent realize this, they could look at an opportunity to maybe go forward, or it's still looking for some sort of play where they push, they have an Uber exchange, they push Skis back, and he gets caught out by Salentes. It is a very interesting place to be right now. I feel like he could maybe show his face a little bit, drag a player or two behind, and then 7 can start pushing through choke or even big door.
The way Sil's playing it is he's pretty sure that someone is like hunting for him. They're just trying to chase him down, but all they do, they've got Laz just watching on top on River there, and there's no way Sil would come out through the shutter doors and actually be able to go onto skis. So all they need to do is watch the one place he's realistically going to come from, and like they don't need to take a dodgy 1v1 or like 2v1 where they could end up exchanging players and both teams being one down.
Yeah, it will be very risky, but Salentas actually looks to spam through shutter, and really it is very slow. 7 have got the lead, so they don't need to overpressure anything. They do like this melodical playstyle where everything kind of hits a symphony that Cadus likes, rather than, you know, just being absolute chaos.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what they're doing. They're all playing to his tune. They're all distracting, making sure that there's no real opportunity for Ascent to go on to Raymond, and they're constantly afraid of Salentas going for the bomb, maybe Starkey going in. Salentas again showing his face. Laz watching again River. He knows that once Salentas' face is popped in Shutter, that he's the only place he can go, like you mentioned, is River. And right now it is very slow. They're waiting for the opportunity to start getting some momentum.
Like this is part of what you and the desk were saying before. It's like if teams play like in a way that 7 aren't used to, like they won't really seem to know what to do. Like right now they're expecting like Laz to go and chase Sil down in lobby. He's not doing it. He's just showing like good discipline. He's just sitting back. He's picking up an ammo pack. He's just spamming. Like they're not allowing 7 to get the play that they want. Sil's now like peeking really aggressively on top because he just needs to do something at this point.
It is interesting. Like one thing I'm thinking though is maybe you can, actually you can't do it because Sil is behind. You can't go and get like a battalion's backup or a contra or something like that to try and break the stalemate. You can't get any off classes, which, you know, on Gully Wash, Sniper can be really impactful. If you can get them into big door or get a decent angle through choke, you can drop the med. So, you know, the Salentas is now kind of joining his team. He's looking to go lower, maybe join back in with them. Yeah. This isn't currently working, so looking for some other play may be better.
Yeah, just cut his losses and leave. Actually, we do have Captain that went in there through choke as they were looking towards Sil on big door, but he just got absolutely destroyed by Slenish and Yite. So it will be a player ad here, but Laz is jumping back into lobby through River. He's not going to be able to really go for a counter-attack here. The Captain has already spawned.
Yeah, right now we're having technical issues on the stream, so I'm going to be also joining Kermit over on the analysis computer, as again it's still that classic stalemate situation. Ascent right now going on top of the point. Laz watching that area. So Laz looking to maybe come in, and Jay immediately tries to deny it, and really it's just a to and fro. No one's really come to a position where someone is in control, and they're looking hopefully to go forward as the bomb comes in, but immediately denied, and down goes Sil. And now we may be seeing a play out of the Ascent roster.
Oh, Raymond drops!
No, he actually does! Oh my god, he drops!
Jay just got, I have no idea how Jay just got in there, gets the drop onto Raymond on the low ground on midpoint. Skis now just has a full advantage here.
We're so sorry, guys. We're so sorry. That isn't even a joke. He does drop. And now Ascent looking to go forward. They've got the opportunity. There is pressure coming from the 7 players, but no one's really connected anything. And with that 100% Uber ad, they're looking to take control of mid. They haven't used it. We see a rotation from 7 as they're going up into the higher area, looking hopefully to get that bomb. But right now, Skis is in. He hasn't really got anyone to heal, but that doesn't matter because he's got his Uber. But
Stark is in behind through choke, and Skis is really weak. Stark could easily get this. Yep, Stark gets the force onto Skis.
Hey! Sorry.
And Stark's still behind, like he just wait, like the whole Uber, they couldn't even walk forward there. Stark was just distracting him so hard, and that's like what everyone seems to know Stark for, his ability to just get behind and make plays. So he's now just bought his team a full 60% ad.
Yeah, and that's going to be incredibly uncomfortable. I just don't know what Ascent are going to have to do to try and break Seven's playstyle, because even though you mentioned it, like, they're not playing how Seven want them to play, Seven are playing how they want to play.
Yeah.
So it's this awkward situation where Seven are doing what they want to do and they're not being really contested, but it's also really awkward because Ascent are letting themselves get baited as a result.
Yeah, Seven are really like perfectly fine just sitting and playing in really long stalemates. Like it's basically what the the whole Seven slow die meme. They are perfectly fine with just sitting in a stalemate for as long as it takes to get the plays made and to get the space they need.
And with only 14 minutes left and 1 round on the board, Seven can be very, very comfortable in this situation. However, Ascent aren't, as Laz does go in, but he only hits 1 rocket before Captain snuffs that attempt out, and he's looking to maybe send himself in, and still is in behind. He's going to go for a play. Is he going to connect anything? No, Jay and Yite managed to clean up Salentes, so we're just trading frag for frag, but Ascent want to go in even though things are equal. Thalash and Slemnish do get traded, and same sort of thing where they're not really getting an advantage, they're just trading players, but Cadus actually goes down to Yite. Yite is in behind. Raymond goes down as well. And Ascent doing an amazing job. Captain trapped in. I don't even know where Syl is. Syl's going to come through the shutter. Laz is going to force him out, and that was good work from Ascent. Yite being the key player on that push.
He went up. Yep. That was like, I thought it was going to be pretty bad there when like I saw Slemnish go in and he and Thalashes both died to like each other's soldiers, but Ascent and A managing to make it work.
Yeah, they need
back on the 7 last year, so maybe this time the Uber will go a lot better for Ascent.
Yeah, if Ascent can get that momentum going forward right now, Kermit, they should be able to deny the sentry gun, but Thalash's sentry gun is up on the left-hand side with Starkey on Pyro, but they're going to be going in. Bot mode leading it, get completely suspended, but they've got players onto the point. Talash's sentry gun has gone down. The Pyro is null effect, but Cadus actually in secret staying alive. Salenter's going down. They've got no time on the point. 7 just eating that push up, and the 7 now on the chase on to Skis. Skis taking a massive rocket. Skis goes down. Bot mode all alone, and that was a really good hold from 7.
Yeah, that was really good. It seems like Ascent just weren't either ready or just weren't expecting the sentry gun. Like bot mode just jumped in and just got completely denied by the sentry. Like it seemed like his whole intention with the Uber was just destroyed by the 1 sentry. And then Captain holding it. Oh, Cadus has gone in. He's making sure there's no sniper and forward spawn, but he might die here to Jay.
Nah, but Captain's in. Captain's going to save his teammate. And now 7 able to come in with 2 players down, Laz and Jay, and Uber advantage to 7. They're not going to wait. They're going to just go straight in through main. Cadus is going to lead the charge. And right now, Talash alongside him. The sentry gun is only a level 1. It's not doing much, as it's just going to not be used. Skis, Yite go down. Cadus is going to be the exchange. But right now, 7, Captain coming up, going to deny that scout from the denial. Bot mode tries to go in, and that's the 2nd round going to 7. Looking very strong on this gully wash,
They're pushed. That's what a push with Uber advantage should look like. They especially, I guess it helps the fact that Circa was really late on spawning, so he only had like a level 1 sentry. But that was really nicely played by all of 7 there.
Yeah, and we're going to be coming into this 3rd mid. Right now, Cadus dealing the damage, maybe seeing the 2 soldiers go in, and Stuck and Captain do go in. Laz actually waiting for an opportunity to try and go in onto Cadus. Oh, big rocket onto Cadus, but trading happening. 3 down for 7, whilst Ascent absolutely mulching 7 in choke, and now they're going for the full chase right now, and Raymond needs to get out. Thalash wheeling his buddy away, now trying to defend him, as Ascent are already in lobby, some of them even peeking into last, but they do not have
they have no cap time on.
No cap time.
So this, as Raymond lived, this should be able to be a good 2nd hold for 7 here.
Like Cadus wants to force them the whole way out, does not want to give them any hold, whilst I think Ascent want to meet them. No, Ascent have decided the right course of action, which is to take control of mid and not let 7 catch them out at all, Kermit.
Yeah, we could be in for yet another stalemate here, but like still 10 minutes in the clock. Oh, Slemnish is just going to come in. He's just in through choke, gets like 1 shot onto Captain and just dies. That seems like it's a stack for sniper. or at least some sort of off-class here. I'm guessing Sniper, because Slemnish has shown just how good he can be on Sniper.
And especially on a map like Gullywash, it's extremely powerful, like the Sniper plays. If you can get Sniper into Big Door and get some key entry frags and then get him out into the open where you're able to support him and he starts picking off players, it can be so impossible to deal with.
During this, Stark ran back to last. He saw that Slemnish, he spy checked Slemnish on Sniper, and he's now just switched off onto Sniper himself.
So we've got the NA Sniper versus one of EU's best, Starkey, and right now Slemnish looking for an angle through Big Door, as I mentioned before. He's being supported by his team. Cadus trying his best not to peek it. Oh! That flick onto Starkey. Slemnish looking for another frag, but he's not able to get the second entry, and they're going to have to back out. And really, really good spam from Seven, but that was did you see that flick?
That was such a nice shot. It was. I didn't think he'd be able to like get it. Like it was such like smart positioning from Stark. Like he knows that the sniper is going to be on Big Door, so he takes like this weird off angle from up top of point instead of like the actual shutter doors. He should have a much easier time, but Slemnish just absolutely domed him.
Do you think
both of them were spawned up on Sniper again?
Do you think Slemnish uses Kovacs?
I'm gonna hope not.
Oh, that's one of his sponsors, by the way.
Oh well.
Anyway, that went way worse than I thought it was.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the old aim trainers myself, but here we go, Stark versus Slemnish again. Stark in the same sort of position from behind the point. You wouldn't be expect. Oh, he hits the body shot. But no. Slemnish
Not able to connect it. You know, bot mode showing his head a little bit too much there, and Starkey nearly took it off as a result. Slemnish and Starkey now. Starkey doing a really, really nice angle. I like this. He's going to be able to take the shot, but Slemnish tried to do the return as well. Both of them missing. You know, they seem very skittish whenever they get into each other's sightlines. There's a huge amount of respect between these two. I think Starkey was completely taken aback when he got hit so quickly by Slemnish that he doesn't want to risk that, as Slemnish again looking for an angle onto Starkey. Starkey trying to return it. No one really diming, and this is all this play is based around right now, is which sniper can get the other sniper. They've been battling left, right, and center. It's like a goddamn lightsaber fight. No one's really hitting each other. They're just kind of swinging and missing. And Slemnish, again, this is just so close. They're like popping heads. They're not seeing they're seeing each other, but not hitting each other. But whilst this is happening, we actually see Jay go in. He tries to get the force onto Raymond, but Raymond is going to hold that. And now Captain looking to pressure, maybe go through drop down, look for another angle for Starkey, maybe.
Yeah, Slemnish is watching choke here, so they should be able to see the sniper dot like on the wall just near the choke, so I think no one from Seven's really going to peek choke all that aggressively. Sill does take a body shot there on Big Door though. Oh, and then just stands still waiting on an arrow, almost gets a headshot.
But right now it does seem like Starkey and Slemnish are back in the same spot, and they've still not hit anything. No one's really made a connection. And again, we're in this sniper duel, as I think Laz just went in behind doing a bit of slenders, and 150, but the buff keeps him alive, and Laz is actually being contested by Sill. He manages to go down, but Starkey is actually going to go down to Slemnish whilst this is happening, and Cadus is peeking, trying to deny, but Slemnish may take off his head as a result. But with Solentes also spamming through, they're not really able to get an angle on another pick. Another body shot and another one, and the third, but he gets arrowed, so Solentes is going to be perfectly fine. But Raymond's head, Slemnish is so deep. Is he going for a hero play? What's going to happen? No, he's going to get cleaned up. If he hit anything then, that would have been
absolutely insane. That would have been like play of the land so far. But I think he tried to do it actually last time, but just when he spawned on Sniper. Stark's going to sit and spawn here, I think, on Spy. No, he's actually just in. He's fully deep on Spy on mid here. So, and no, see, when he spawns, I think he's like spy checking to make sure there's no off-class in the other team, but no one actually did it from the side of Ascent. Slemnish did go scout for a second, decided, nah, he wants to play Sniper.
But he's not aware that Starkey is playing Spy, and he is in a great position. If his team can make a good amount of noise and Starkey can decloak at the right time, it'll be absolutely perfect for him. As he's going behind, he's in a spot where he can decloak, but he just needs to spam coming in. I feel like Starkey is going to maybe, no, he's not going to make his move. Oh, he is going to make his move and get called out immediately. And Cadus was headshot by Slemnish. Has this happened? Oh, Jay gets absolutely crushed by Captain. But right now, Ascent in a perfect place to come in. They're going to be exchanging a lot of damage, but Ascent managed to bully their way in, but they've not caught Raymond. Raymond's going to manage to get out, and they're going to have equal Uber, but Slemnish looking to get on a Raymond. That was so close.
This is so hard. Like, I think Raymond has to actually go like underneath the point here just to get back onto last, like, unless they can pressure Slemnish away from here. Especially as he's got the cozy camper. Oh no, they're just going to back up. You're going to say with the cozy camper, you know, he gets no knockback from the aim once he's like fully scoped in. But they're going to rotate out. I'm going to go River. We've only got 4 minutes left on the map with Ascent needing to get 2 rounds just to take the game to a golden cap.
Yeah, Ascent need to win this and then get an absolutely perfect mid-fight and bring it all the way in to get this to a golden cap. But right now, Jay pressuring really nicely, huge amount of damage. Salentes and Captain went to like 30 HP. Slemnish looking again for an angle, not connecting any of it. And we do have a fully built sentry from Starkey set up on last as well. So Seven looking just to completely deny. Even the loose cannon has come out on Cadus, which is a great pushback, especially against an Uber.
Okay, just running through a main there, just trying to get anything done. He got a decent amount of damage onto Cadus, but not enough to actually get the frag. So he's just going down there. I don't know if they're going to run him on like a pyro or something maybe and do some sort of push through River down to water, or if that was just him being impatient and wanting to play. Yeah, he just wanted to get in and try and get anything done.
Oh, 150 onto Cadus. Cadus is actually going to go down. That's a good pick. Salentes nearly gets down by Slemnish as he's in main. Not really getting denied right now, and I think they want to go in. Yite looks like he's ready, but Laz is going to go down to Salentes. That wasn't even like a bomb. He was just in River. Yite trying to take skis in. Oh, Slemnish hitting Captain again. These pyros going in, but we've got Yite coming in behind as well. I don't think there's any stickies on point, but he does get met by Salentes. He wins the 1v1. Gets a little bit of time onto the point, but because there's not another scout or a soldier really to bomb in on that, they're not going to be able to take it much further. And right now,
Laz, is he spy checking or is Laz?
No, Laz is out.
Also
Laz is out
as well, yeah.
He's getting that EU gimmicks, my friend. He's becoming a part of it as he does manage to sneak his way in through main. He is currently in secret.
Okay, he's decloaking here under the point. Or under the team. Yeah, Slemnish goes in.
Maybe they can bait for...
Like, some no, they don't. Both 7 scouts are off-classing and Laz is disguised as an enemy scout. He should, like, all the 7 should know that they...
if they see a scout...
that it's a spy.
Yeah, I think Cadus is setting up traps. He's probably going to go down. Like, even if they get a pick onto Cadus, it's still not going to be perfect. Because what they need is they need to get rid of that sentry gun and get rid of Raymond. And 2 of those things are going to be very difficult to do, especially when they lose bot mode. But this has caused a bit of chaos. Yite's gone underneath. I think he's going to try and bait time onto the point as he is having a 1v1, but he is going to get cleaned up by Cadus' trap. Cadus looking to come forward onto Skis. Skis going to have to back out as pressure is being put on from him, but Laz just comes off on the point. It's getting nearly there. The last goes in. 3 soldiers go by. RSN going to go in with an Uber, and they do try to get Cadus, but they're not going to get anything else, and Raymond has 100% Uber. 1 minute 30 left. I think that's the only real play we're going to get out of Ascent.
Yeah, they just need to do an all-in play here, basically, and just try and get the cap. Jay's going to commit to
A distraction play. From
yeah, his team needed to go in, like right behind him there, and they just didn't.
Yeah,
Bot mode goes down to the sentry, still gets... Yeah, this is GG now.
This is 100%.
No, yeah, there's no way that Ascent can cap the point here. If they had capped it, it takes only like, I think you can get around in 52 seconds or something on this map. It was mathematically possible if they got the cap, but at this point it's over.
Yeah, I think that is our first map actually going
GG
to...
called by Skis in the chat there.
Yeah, 100%. I think that is the first round going to 7. I assume Gully Wash was a 7 pick. It seems like a 7 pick to me.
Yeah, and I guess like they've won more games, so like I guess the upper seeded team would get the first map pick.
So not really an unsurprising result. There has been some good moments from Ascent, but going into Snakewater, it will be a very different kettle of fish, and I'm super excited to see it, Kermit.
Yeah, like one thing like about this map is like normally sometimes like 7 can have like really low score lines like this, but it doesn't feel at all close. But this has been really back and forward. Like 7 have been on their last like a good few times. Like they held last like against like Uber with Uber disadvantage like twice, I think, and like just held off the pushes from Ascent. It's just been really well played by Seven. And like even with like how big Slemnish went like on Sniper there, like there was just nothing that they could really do.
They did a really good job of dealing it with everything, and you know, absolute congratulations to Seven for the first map.
Yep.
You know, what's your closing thoughts on that? I think we've got an analysis desk. We've got some people ready to have a chat.
Slemnish went big as expected, especially on the Sniper. Like he got a good amount of frags. Like that shot on Stark was pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Like the flick from Big Door. The other two, I'm not sure what we'll see in the next map. Just with how close that seemed, I'm really not sure.
Yeah, Gully Wash is a notorious one of the if not the hardest like lasts to push, I find.
Yeah, it
like,
can be. If the enemy knows how to hold like relatively well, it's very hard.
It's like that Pyro Sentry combo is so hard to deal with.
Yeah.
I liked what Ascent had the idea of switching things over, but there's a reason we don't see that much, is it really doesn't work, because you're not able to deny as much, and you're not able to get as much pressure onto the point, and that's the main thing, is the point is more important than frags at the end of the day. But people who are probably going to reiterate that more than we are our analysis desk, which is going to be Turbo Tabs, Dum Tum, and your boy Epley. Take it away, lads.
Hi there, welcome to the desk, welcome to the analysis desk. I'm just Turbo Tabs, this is just Dum Tum, but you got your boy Epley.
Yeah, boy.
Woo!
What can you do?
All right, logs are ready, boys. Let's go straight into it. Sorry, boy. Let's go. Let's go. All right, going straight into it, guys. Let's just talk about the stats, and then we'll talk a bit more about the game in nitty-gritty. But math-wise, what is jumping out at you?
I mean, I even talked about it before for a second. It was, you know, Seven has Captain as like the rock of consistency, and it just goes to show that Captain just always is able to perform no matter what.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you know, if you're going to pick out one player on each team, Captain, you know, he's putting out that damage, he's getting those frags. He's not really dying that much on the scale of things, considering he's like a soldier, you know, which is basically just cannon fodder at this point. Obviously, on the side of Ascent and A, we saw Slemnish. I mean, 18 for 13. A lot of his frags were on Sniper, and they were really, really impactful. I mean, I feel like, you know, everyone talks about Credo as like a big sniper in terms of Europe. You know, everyone kind of talks about, you know, Flippy in like the old days. But like Slemmish has not only incredibly good, consistent sniping, but he has such a swag way of hitting his shots, right? He'll be looking like halfway the other direction, do like a 90-degree flick, and then suddenly you're just dead. Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. Is there anything... we could probably head over to the additional stats while we're here as well, but is there any sort of things that kind of stand out for you for that particular game? Anything that might have gone over the heads of your casual viewer, for example, that shows this is premium TF2 right here?
I mean, I really like talking about it because it's one of the things Seven is the best on, which is, I mean, we all know TF2 is like a funny-looking game. It's like, you know, very cartoony and stuff, but the truly only thing that's like horrifying to look at is Seven on Gully Wash last. The moment, and it doesn't matter if they're pushing it or if they're holding it, there's just nothing you can do. We had like a very long stand at the beginning that was on last. Seven just slowly grinds out their opponent until eventually there's enough openings for everything just to be right. People on the point, people in front of the medic forcing, and from then on it just flows. And even when holding, like, sure, you had Slemnish pop up on Sniper massively, but it feels like it was the only thing that was really going their way once on last. On second and mid, they had much more of a presence to really force Seven out to make mistakes. But on last, they really only had Slemnish trying to just get more and more of a sideline over time. And Seven has such good position overall with every single player that even once they had like the few opportunities they did get, it just didn't matter in the end.
All right, well, let's talk about these medic stats as well. I do like a good medic stats. It's kind of diagnosed the game overall in a massive way. And the thing I'm noticing is the stats look a bit worse for Ware of Raymond. Maybe just a bit of stats beating him here and there, but those drops just sticked out to me like a sore thumb equally.
Yeah, obviously it's pretty significant. You know, they had 2 less Ubers, 2 more drops in what was a very, very slow game for a large amount of it. You know, only 2 rounds in the entire game, and a lot of it was just kind of stalemates. But at the same time, you've got to kind of put it into context where there was at least one situation where Seven was happy to stand on the last, right? They wasted Skeezy's Uber in its entirety, and then at that point there was 3 minutes left in the game, right? Like the way Seven plays, they're 2 rounds up, like Raymond's not going to bother using his Uber, right? So you've got, you know, kind of situations where if they had been another team and they just wanted to go for the sake of getting some more rounds, they would have used some more Ubers, they would have equalized the stats a little bit, but, you know, it's more kind of a sign, a little bit of kind of how Seven were playing. I feel like the story is it's a little bit difficult to grasp specifically based on the stats. It was more a case of, you know, it was that classic kind of 7 war of attrition, you know. They would sometimes, you know, Ascent, then they would get some really good opportunities. They'd generate fantastic openings, but only ever up to a point. 7 would never let it get completely out of control.
All right, we can probably put away the stats for now, but let's go into the maps a bit. Now, the first map, Gully Wash, I know the casters touched upon it a bit more. I want to, like, you know, obviously analysis, break it down.
Break it down.
So let's talk about this last point. Is it really just that hard of a nut to crack? Is it just really, once you kind of dig your heels in, you can't get this last point sorted? Or isn't that just every last point in TF2 done?
I mean, every caster here, basically, and I'm guilty of this myself, like every single last is hard to push or hard to push out of. That's just the nature of the game, and it's like on the players to find a way around it. And like I said before, 7 has found a consistent way, and granted, a slow one maybe, and maybe not the fancy-looking one, but it just is consistent every time they go for it. Be it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, no matter how long how it takes, they will eventually find the opening they're looking for, and other teams might struggle with that sort of thing much more. We've seen Ascent and A struggle here quite a bit with this last point, and that's just the difference you need on this level of play.
Yeah. Eepily, is this a preview to come? Is this truly the Rock beating the Scissors at its like countering game? Is this what we expect to see going into our next map, Snakewater, as well?
No, I really don't think it's going to be the exact same story. I would be incredibly surprised if Ascent NA let 7 get another kind of early advantage and then kind of let themselves get ground out like that, right? I feel like, obviously everyone knows in terms of Gully Wash, you know, there is the old saying that Silentes doesn't lose Gully Wash so far, you know. He definitely has like an incredibly impressive track record, but, you know, I feel like Snake's going to be a really, really different beast. It's something which people have kind of known that, you know, 7 aren't the biggest fans of, you know, Cadis in particular, not a big fan of Snake as much as, you know, you talk to the team and half the time they're like, no, yeah, we quite like Snake. That's just kind of them, you know, trying to save face really, right? Ultimately, it's not the map which they're going to choose themselves to have, right? And Ascent NA, I'm assuming it's going to be their pick, right? And not just, you know, 7 having, you know, a lot of enthusiasm. But I would imagine Ascent NA is going to know that, and they're going to be able to kind of play off some of 7's weaknesses on it.
Yeah, it seems. Yep. Okay. So we just want to get one last silver lining for all those NA fans out there. Just tell them like reasons why they should be optimistic going into the Snakewater map. I'll start with you, Dunton.
Eepily already said it's not necessarily 7's strongest map. It's not the weakest map anymore for them. It definitely improved over time, but it's still one of the weaker ones for sure in the really strong map pool. And the few times things were looking good on Gully Wash, it just really came to show that Ascent NA has the ability to play off small advantages incredibly consistent, incredibly quickly. And if they can just find those moments quicker and more often on Snakewater, it's going to be a much better game for them.
All right. Eepily, keep it short, keep it sweet, and keep it silver.
Slamnish is popping off, right? He's hitting his shots, and honestly, Ascent NA, they're getting that far away every single time, right? There's definitely a world in which they can get up that last little bit of distance and make it through and break into 7's defenses.
All right. Okay. So before we go over into our next game, we're just going to send it to a quick ad whilst we got you. And yeah, we'll be right back with more 7 versus Ascent.NA. We just played an ad. We haven't got any game for you. Get debated. Now, it's still the analyst desk. It's still your host, Taz, with DumTum, with Eeply. Guys, before we go straight into the game, I just wanted to ask a couple of predictions and whatnot, and yeah, just delay a bit more time. So, okay, let's get into the meat of our predictions, and please, show me your work, show me your answers as well. Why would you predict the way you're thinking? So, I know you guys were feeling strong about Ascent.NA kind of doing a better performance than this, but is it enough to topple the Giant 7? What do you think, DumTum?
I think there was some sign of weakness for 7, but it wasn't much at all, and they are very much aware of what those possible problems are going into the next map. They need to shut down the sniper more efficiently. They need to be careful about every time they're losing a single player, and I think they have it in them to just have that happen fairly quickly. So I predict the scoreline where more rounds will be scored, but still in 7's favor. I say 3-2 in 7's favor. Yeah.
Not only did he give me a prediction, Eeply, he gave me a scoreline. Can you beat that? Can you tell me what's going to happen? Ooh.
I think, like you said, Ascent.NA, they're going to find things more favorable. This is just, it is a weaker map for 7. We saw them go, kind of lose a few rounds, kind of have some issues playing against Ascent EU, and I feel like, obviously in the TF2 Grand Finals, and I feel like as of this point, Ascent.NA, they're looking a decent bit stronger than Ascent EU, really. So I actually think this is going to go to the third map, the best of 3. I think this will be something like, I'm just going to say opposite of what DumTum says. I think it's going to be about 3-2 to the Americans.
Interesting, interesting. And I think we still got a bit more time before the players get in, because this is an important match. I don't think anybody's rushing any of the players at this point. We don't really have the place to rush them, because this is a massive game for both of these teams. Like, how important would you say these breaks are in between these maps to go over these map talks, to just talk about mistakes that have happened? Like, how do you think these breaks are going for these teams? Anyone, jump out.
I mean, it's going to be important for them, for sure. It's like, there was so much tension in this game. It was incredibly close until the last 2-3 minutes, when eventually the timer just decided that there was not enough time for Ascent to do it anymore. But until then, they constantly had the pressure on them, and you just need a short break, drink something, and just talk about what happened, what needs to change, and you just need to make the most of your time here.
Yeah. Eeply, how much of these breaks do you reckon is the team actually thinking about the mistakes, actually reviewing them, going back on them? Or do you think a lot of players just kind of erase it out of their mind? A new map, a new dawn? What do you think these two top teams, or the top teams, like to do it?
I feel like in this kind of situation, because it's so really, really high pressure, you don't want to dwell too much on the mistakes. If there's something significant that your team wants to bring up, you absolutely should address it now. But if it's little things that you're already aware of, but in the moment, maybe just the execution of some idea which didn't go perfectly, you don't spend time thinking, well, what if I just hit that headshot, right? In those situations, that's execution, right? That's fine. In the moment, sometimes things go a little bit wrong. I feel like the biggest thing right now is that Ascent.NA, they're going to need just a little bit of a moment to mentally reset. Playing that kind of game where you lose rounds and then you get ground out to the end of the game is incredibly frustrating. They need a second just to take a reset and just breathe and be like, okay, that was that map, that's fine. It's a best of 3 for a reason, It's pretty kind of uncommon when you see top teams win in 2 maps in a best of 3 anyway. So losing the first map, it's not the worst thing ever. What they need to do is just take that bit of a reset, look onto Snakewater and just say, right, we may have made a few mistakes, but is this our stronger map? If so, why? What do we got to focus on? And treat it like that. On the 7 side of things, obviously, they'll be feeling a little bit better. They've got themselves a little bit of a buffer now. If they do lose this map, this isn't all kind of all or nothing for them. But at the same time, when you're in that situation where you are grinding out the enemy, every little mistake matters massively. Like if Roman had dropped 5 minutes left to go, that could have actually been a round lost, and then, maybe a mid-fight happens, suddenly you find yourself at 2-2, right? There's a lot of tension in that situation. So exact same, you've got to take that time to mentally reset and just untense yourself, Because constantly tensing your muscles, you're going to find yourself shaking more, you're going to find yourself, getting more mentally fatigued because you're constantly a bit more stressed. Yeah, they need that time just to relax to make sure that all 12 players on the server are playing at their best.
Yeah. Speaking of mentality, you've kind of got me thinking about this curiosity I had. Now, we've got obviously the NAU, the crowd, the bias, all that, but you've got this strange phenomenon when 7 play in tournaments that many people, it's not a secret, don't care for the way 7 plays. It's played in a very, careful way is probably the nicest way I can put it, but not many people appreciate that. What do you think is actually stronger, the EU bias or the TF2 playstyle bias when it comes to the crowd?
I think, and we've definitely heard before, that people just want to see like exciting gameplay, really. I mean, obviously, here in Europe, most people want the European team to win. There's not too many Americans here at LAN that I can think of besides Ascent NA and a few others, maybe. So the bias will still be obviously in the EU's favor, but at the end of the day, people will be happy when exciting things happen, right? So even if 7 plays slow, people will still be cheering for them when they finally get their moment to shine.
Ipoli, you've been out there. Would you say people are starting to turn against 7?
Not really, no. I feel like, you know, like predominantly it's Brits, right? And Brits do everything a bit like tongue-in-cheek, right? So, you know, when people are kind of sitting there being like, oh yeah, 7's so slow, they're like so boring, you know, half the time it's like, you know, a little bit the fact that they will grind a team out, right? And from a viewer point of view, it's not always the most exciting experience to, you know, kind of watch a team get hopelessly dashed against the wall for 15 minutes as they fail to push last. However, you know, I would like to think that the crowd appreciates good quality TF2 in all of its forms, and that's why, you know, we said before, at this LAN, there's fantastic quality TF2 being played at the very highest level in a variety of different forms. There's a bunch of different playstyles, and I'd like to think that everyone, you know, in the back of their head, even if they're a bit like, oh, wouldn't it be sick if some guy ran forward and got like 3 kills with a huntsman, right? I like to think that in the back of their head, they're thinking, actually, this is really good quality TF2. These are the best players in the world playing right now, and they're playing for, like, everything.
Yeah. How important would you guys say it would be to have the crowd on your side? Do you think having people cheering for you, maybe in not this sort of setting, but in a grand final setting, is it nice having the crowd on your side, cheering after each play, or is it kind of annoying just hearing all those loud noises after you're trying to play TF2?
I think it's a little bit player dependent. I can think back on Copenhagen Games this year earlier.
Yeah.
And when tayyy was still on 7, he was definitely somebody who loved playing the crowd. Every time his team was doing well, they got around, he cheered up the crowd even more. He is a good example for somebody who like thrives from the crowd. I don't know about the rest of 7. They are a little bit more reserved people across the board, I would say, like compared to tayyy. So maybe it's not quite the same effect, but I would imagine that these guys have been playing on LAN, on stages for long enough that even if it was something that they don't like necessarily prefer, they're used to it to the point where it doesn't affect them negatively anymore.
Ipoli, come on, please tell me that all those times I chanted Banny go home actually worked, and that's why he's not coming back.
I feel like the crowd does play an impact, right? You know, even if it's just on the peripheral of your vision, you get to see people kind of excited for certain players. I feel like it can get you kind of excited for things. It can also kind of, you know, once you see them like cheering over, like, I don't know, you getting headshot or something, it can kind of maybe play a little bit, but realistically, like, at least for the 7 players, they are established LAN veterans. You know, they've all played like a billion times. It's the kind of situation where you'd like to think they'd kind of put out the head. In terms of the Americans, just because of, you know, I'm not even sure how many of them, if really any, have played at the highest level at an I-Series before. I think it'll be a really, really different experience playing, if they, well, assuming they make it up to that main stage for the Grand Finals, just because every American LAN, you know, obviously going back to the ESEA LANs, much, much smaller. You know, even Rewind 1 and 2, it was larger than in the ESEA, but nothing near the size of this. So the crowds, it's a very, very different experience. And it's something which they probably want to kind of keep their eyes on, you know? You can't let it kind of pressure you too much. You can let it kind of excite you and build up the hype a little bit, but you can't really let the crowd affect you too much, because ultimately you've got to be confident in what you're doing as a player, because turns out, right, half the time, crowd doesn't really know what it's on about.
Boo, boo. Anyway, I want to get a bit more into the fact that not the grand final setting, because you've got your own nice personal booth, all this space, or, you know, plenty of like water being passed to you, plenty of time, but at the upper brackets, it feels like a culmination of all the bad things that are happening to you, because not only have you got the crowd, you've got a crowd of people directly behind you as well, kind of kneeing you in the back and all this stuff. What is like examples of things that, you know, just to kind of paint a picture of a Twitch chat, what are things that these players have to deal with at a LAN setting that they're not used to dealing with at an ETF 12 final, for example?
I mean, at this point in the tournament, there's obviously, like us going in this late at night, a lot of people are gone already for other games, for example. So it's not quite as loud anymore, but obviously there's still a lot of noise, and there's people standing behind you. Obviously, you might just catch them talking about you, and you can't let that get to you, right? you need to zone yourself into the game as much as you possibly can.
How about you, Ipoli? Is there anything I missed about LAN that kind of pick at people at this point in the upper bracket?
It's more or less what kind of Dumtum said. You know, it isn't just like the noise. It's kind of the different things happening on your peripheral vision. Maybe every now and then someone will try and like get past you. Thankfully for both these teams, directly behind them is a kind of an aisle in between all the rows. So it's not like they have players directly behind them. So it's not as bad as it would be if you were kind of right in the middle of one of the collections. So it shouldn't really make too much of a difference. Every now and then there might be a little nudge, but realistically, I think when it comes to people viewing behind the players, people are really, really respectful of plays, of players and kind of, you know, having their space. And also half the time they're watching that team because they kind of want them to win. So they're, you know, hyper aware of like golf clapping every time it's something good, just like.
Now, let's just put I want to go back to the upper bracket advantage and like what that has, you know, foretold for the winner today. Because, I mean, hell if I know. So maybe the crowd doesn't know either. So what sort of advantages do you get from an upper bracket? Is it just a break? Is it just like some time off? Do you get to go to bed earlier? What are the advantages of winning upper bracket apart from playing one less game?
Obviously, the one less game is already like a pretty massive thing, right? You just get to sleep a little bit more. You have maybe a little bit more practice time on the next day and don't need to focus so much on beating your next opponent right away. You know not for sure who you will be playing, but you have a rough idea who it could be, so you have enough time to prepare for every possible outcome out of the lower bracket, as well as obviously the map pick advantage. We see it like mighty come into play here. Obviously, Gullywash is a really strong map for 7. They came in here as the first seed out of groups, so they could just easily get their best map in here right away. And similar things would happen with the map pick advantage in Grand Finals, except it's obviously much more impactful because it's the final game. That's where it all matters the most.
How about you, Ipali? Is there anything I'm missing from this upper bracket advantage? Do they get a map advantage at all, or have we done away with that, just like the TF2 rules?
I believe, I'm not 100% certain right now, I believe, you know, you're always going to have a standard best of 5, but yeah, like the picks will be slightly more favored. I'm not exactly sure to what degree. I'm sure we'll get told at some point in some very elegantly created post by Henny or one of those smart boys over there. But I think in terms of like the time you say is significant, but it's also there's that pressure of when you get through an upper bracket, you lose it, and then you have to make your way through it. It's not just the fact that you have to physically play more games, it's the fact that you have to prepare against more teams, right? You're basically splitting your time between that kind of other team you're playing first and then the grand final team. If you're expecting to win, you've got to prepare yourself for both. Therefore, you're splitting your time as well. You've got to, like I said, you know, wake up a little bit earlier. You've got to kind of... Sometimes players say that they like playing that additional game. It kind of warms them up a little bit. Other times, kind of players feel like it's not particularly good. You kind of find yourself a bit drained, especially if you have a lot of pressure on yourself. I'm almost thinking, though, that, like, if Ascent and A find themselves working their way through the lower bracket, I don't think they'd mind that much, really. I feel like they would quite like to play a little bit more, play a bit more against these top European teams, and then make their way to the grand final. Whereas 7, I think, have a heavy preference for preparation as opposed to playing more against teams which they kind of already have a lot of experience playing against.
Yeah, a good example that comes to mind off the top of my head is that I-55, Reason against Royotech was the winners finals and grand finals, and the winners finals was an incredibly competitive game, probably the closest game at that event, and Reason obviously lost in the end. They had to go through the losers bracket for a little bit longer, and the grand finals was not at all pretty, so I wonder if that's maybe something that the few people that remain, like Cadus, in this team now on 7, if that's something that will affect them in a similar way, or if they gotten past it, and how that would affect a team like Ascent and A with less LAN experience.
Yeah, it's like, with a team like 7, they love preparing against specific teams. So if they're preparing against 2 teams, like, that obviously makes much more of a difference, whereas Ascent and A, I feel, far more kind of do their thing and trust that that's going to work against the different teams. Like, they physically can't prepare to the same degree that 7 can, because they just haven't had the experience playing the European teams. They have to rely on their own thing more, so... I feel like Ascent and A, they won't be too worried. But obviously, if they can get their free ticket to grand finals, obviously they're going to do that because they are NA's representative and they want to show that they are up there with the best talent Europe has to offer.
Now, boys, you're going to hate this question because I know it varies. I know. But I want to quantify what preparations mean. So if you go into a low bracket, what does an average viewer what a preparations would even mean? Like, is it 30 minutes of their time? Is it an hour of their time? Is it, like, how long does an average team spend, like, focusing on an opponent and preparing for them?
I think Ipali should know better than me. You probably know 7 and Cadus for that matter a little bit
They'll
better
spend
than anyone else here on the desk. So I mean, legends have it that Seven and Kate specifically are just like demo monsters when it comes to preparing for specific games.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, it's going to be a considerable amount of time. It's going to involve early mornings, late nights. It's going to involve serious preparation because they take it incredibly seriously.
Yeah. All right. Okay, boys. I think it's time. I think I've taken enough information from you. It's time to take it to our casters. We're throwing it back to Grumpy and Kermit. Let's go.
Thank you very much, guys. My name is Grumpy Koi. I'm joined by Kermit, and we're going to be going into Snake Water. The analyst desk have given a very, very deep and detailed opinion on what's going to happen on this map. What is your take, though, Kermit? Let's talk some more.
Hopefully, Seven have definitely improved on this map since the last time I saw them.
Oh, you want it to be you don't want it to go to a third map? You don't want to see it go to Sunshine?
Well, it could just be a bit cringe if they are as bad as they have been previously, like where they just don't even know how to push last successfully.
Yeah,
Many teams know how to push the last in Snake War, but somehow Seven just fails.
just never figure it out. I think it's because like I've always felt like Snake Water again favors chaos. Kind of does. It favors.
Yeah, it can do. Yeah,
yeah.
especially in like second, with it's like just being a lot of Snake is just like the mid's not so wide open, but second and last are really wide open, and you can just get like
everyone gets bopped around, like sent flying. You got to think about like the classic. You know, you'll always have a Roma kind of hanging out on top of the shed. And as soon as someone jumps, that player gets knocked flying over onto the other side of the map. They're in a weird position. You've got your teammates kind of coming in from an odd angle through left, and then it kind of ends up in this really weird space where it's all about getting those key frags and getting that chaos and using it right. And you know Kados, not really a fan of chaos. He's a fan of like everything just falling into place how he wants it to. And I think that's just why Snake Water just isn't a thing for him.
You know, just to go back on what TurboTabs was talking about earlier on the desk there, asking about preparation and stuff, like today for the first time, was just sitting behind Cadis in between a couple of their games earlier. I think it was like when their break before they came here. Cadis has like, I'm not sure what program it is, but he's just got it looks like a spreadsheet basically.
Or what the board?
With a ton of tabs of maps and like just notes for like each point on every single map, and he was sitting still adding to it today, like even like as late as now, like new strats or like new positions for people to hold or just different calls and stuff. Like he's still adding to it now. Like for Cadis at least, the preparation doesn't stop.
Yeah, no, I don't think he ever stops, and the main reason is because you don't stay top of, you know, like Cadis' team crowns what 3 years now of being top of EU TF2 for like 3 years.
Pretty much, apart from season 27 where Arctic Foxes won. Shout out to my boy Marosh if he's watching.
Yeah, but that's it.
Them, like when they, it was like I think it might have been. I'm very sure it was that season where Marosh and Tiger, like spawn capped Raymond like 3 times in a row in process, and they ended up losing the grand finals. Apart from like that one season, I think Seven have just been under whatever name they've been. Yeah, they're completely uncontested. Cadis has won, basically.
And I think that's a testament not just to how good they are as individual players, but you can get to the top.
Yeah.
It's staying at the top. Look at Arctic Fox is a great example. They won Prem.
Yeah.
But did they stay at the top?
To be fair, a few of the players, like I think it was Adam, like Race. I'm going to call him Adam Racecar. Adam Racecar ended up quitting. Like he just quit the game. Like he sort of plays every now and then, but like he was like an incredible demo. Like he was at the top of the game, one of the best demos, and he just thought, I think his PC like broke and he didn't have money to replace it, so he was gone, and then I think just everyone else in the team kind of lost motivation.
Adam Racecar, I heard about this. Or it might have been Catboy actually. I heard about one of the cars, their dad washed their computer with soap. And that's what they haven't been playing. Like, I heard about this. I don't know how true this is, but if that's a thing.
If it wasn't true before, it is now.
It is now.
Yeah,
I've said it.
Yeah.
It's on stream.
But yeah, we don't know if it was Adam or Catboy though, so...
We'll just say it's both.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Actually, no, I think Adam does play MGE though, and I've not seen Catboy anywhere but a Twitch chat recently, so it may actually be...
It may actually be Catboy. I had a conversation with Piggles last night about it, but Piggles was very, very drunk. So I don't really know, to be honest.
But anyway,
back to Team Fortress 2.
From memes, to go like it's like to stay at the top. Like like other teams come up with different play styles. You need to learn and like adapt and like know how to play against different teams. Like Seven, yeah, they're nice and they play their nice, steady, slow gameplay like we saw in Gully Wash there, where like I think like there was 60 kills in the game, where normally you'd see like maybe around like nearly 100 per game. Like it was just such a slow game. It was just so stalematy. But you get teams coming up like how like Ascent just play EU play like chaotic, mostly chaotic, and then I think you were saying Feint play like that middle ground between the chaos and the balance of Seven. Seven need to like have kept on learning and like adjusting to these game styles, basically knowing how to play. And if they just got to the top and then just like stayed like there and like
didn't adapt,
anything, they would not be there anymore.
No, I think it is really important that, you know, there's always been the kind of thing ever since Arctic Foxes. It's always been like, who is the next like Cadus killer? Who's the next team to beat out Cadus? Because he is just so good at adapting, and because he's constantly thinking of new strats, people learn how to beat old Seven strats, and then once they beat an old Seven strat, there's a new one. Yeah. Like there's, and I almost feel like, I think as well, Cadus also knows how to beat himself. And that sounds really weird, but a lot of people's mentalities
you
is
know your own weaknesses, basically.
And alongside that is, as teams are going, well, what's Cadus? Like, people are always going, what's Cadus doing? How is he playing the game? That's how I want to play the game. Whether you're low, whether you're up to Prem, that's a mentality that some people do genuinely have. And if Cadus can beat himself, it means that he will never be defeated, because if people go, oh, this strat that Cadus came up with is the most efficient, Cadus has already got in the back of his mind, well, that's how I beat that.
Yeah.
Then you've got Ascent, and on Snake, they're not part of the scene. They don't play like Europeans, because they're not.
Yeah, exactly.
And they kind of, like we saw last time, Froyotech beat them out. It was like a best of 5. It was absolutely perfect last time. It was so down to the wire until the Sunshine, which is going to be the decider. And so far, when it comes to American versus EU TF2, Sunshine is a terrifying map for 7 as well. So they've got 2 maps that I don't feel they're going to be that confident with, all in all. Like, Sunshine is a map that they've played and they can do, but going against NA teams is terrifying. Like, have Ascent and 7 played in this tournament on Sunshine? Do we know what map they played on?
I don't know. I think they played, I want to see either Granary or Viaduct.
Something like that.
Yeah, I know. All I know is that the score was 3-2 to 7.
But most importantly, right now we are going to be going live on Snakewater. My name is Grumpy Koi. I'm joined by Kermit, and we are going to be finally going live on Snakewater, and we're going to be bringing you into this first mid right now as Cadus and bot mode do exchange their damage. They're going to be looking to wait out for these bombs. We're going to see Laz and Jay go into the skybox. Raymond just gets completely collapsed upon. Cadus is getting separated in lower. Jay's coming back out as well. An absolute collapse onto 7. Ascent doing an amazing job. Captain, the only survivor left on 25 HP. And that first mid-fight, it was all Ascent. They wiped out 7.
Yeah, it was really nice, like, by 7 actually managing to at least get the trade onto skis there. It's like, I think this is one of the things, like, 7 will probably just adjust to next mid. They'll take their heals, like, top left in the catwalk. Like, if the enemy team sends 2 soldiers on your medic's dead. Like, you might as well just cut your losses and just everyone else just push across with whatever, like, health you have left. It's just one of those things you have to just kind of accept. It sucks to be the medic when you've just got 2 people constantly bombing you, but that's what happens. We're actually going to see a push in here from lower here.
Yeah, they are.
We've got
Laz is completely behind. He doesn't even, like, no one contests him, and Raymond goes down. Cadus as well. Right now, it's an absolute slaughter of 7. Ascent feeling so confident, and that's another wipe. What is going on, Kermit?
Laz is just a beast. That, like, I feel Laz doesn't get the credit he deserves. He does so much with so little for, like,
first round.
Yep.
There's nothing going to do. That is well played.
Jumped in the skybox, he then just gets shot on the Raven. Cadus is low, he gets him. He sees Captain's low, he gets Captain. He got half the team on his own.
When have you last seen a round like that?
Against 7?
Against 7. Like,
couldn't tell you.
No one's been able to do anything like that.
I could tell you it was probably Sunshine in the grand finals a year ago.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Yeah, so NA have this habit of sometimes breaking down 7. Now we're coming into this second mid. Can 7 adjust? And right now, Laz going really, really high, trying to get on the Cadus. They have, oh, in the background, we've actually had everyone trade out. So Skis and Raymond, and now it's a wipe. 7 actually bringing that out, but so many frags, super scrappy mid-fight, and losing Raymond is not the situation they want to be in.
It's not the situation they want to be in, but it's the situation they expected. Like, as I was saying, like they did, I'm pretty sure, takes Raymond top left really passively. And then they saw both soldiers bomb. Raymond just ran back into his own saw. He's like unbelievably passive. So both soldiers, Laz and Jay, need to go mega deep just to even get onto him. So all of 7 could just run forward and kill the rest of Ascent. Like they adjusted like to the mid like perfectly, and they did it very, very quickly as well.
And right now, Ascent are going to be holding on to their second. There was a huge amount of time, like big attempt from 7 to actually cap that out, but deciding to back out. And we're going to have the classic Snake Water second to mid, but 7 looking to inch their way in on grass. The last taking a huge amount of damage. Bot mode dealing as well. And again, just waiting patiently for 7 to do something. Cadus wants to go in. Salentes is up high. Bot mode's getting separated. Huge amount of damage onto him. And now we're seeing the bomb in from Laz as he does clean up Salentes, and he has backed out. And, you know, completely different game from Ascent soldiers right now. They feel so much stronger than in Gully Wash. They're able to really show themselves off, and this is a very, very soldier-centric map in general. There's a huge amount of angles, and look, straight away Jay's going in with the exchange. They're looking to get the frags, but Laz is going to get caught out in the back, Kermit, and Captain is now on the chase. Ski's taking a huge amount. Captain's going to get that with a nice rocket. And good work from 7 there, Kermit.
That was really nice. Like, Laz almost got Cadus there. He got in through kitchen, like, uncalled. I think just at the last second, Captain, I think it was just rolling out and just happened to see Laz, like, in behind. And we are going to see Slimnish on the sniper class here. So you can see if he can work some of his magic that he did in the last map here.
Yeah, really right now it's going to be down to Ascent holding on to their last, and 7 with a bit of an Uber ad, but not a huge amount. Need to be very careful. They've probably spotted out that Slimnish is on sniper. They're looking like they're rotating, trying to stay safe. They may send a player back to switch out Starkey, but Slimnish actually deciding not to go with that. Ubers are going to be equaled out, and actually Raymond...
Yeah, no,
there's not.
Ads here for Raymond still, yeah.
I think that was the mentality they had.
Yeah, Captain did get Skis in second there just after the Uber. Gun's going to go down. The Uber's just straight in from 7 from the shutter door there.
They're starting to do the separation. This is a classic 7-style push onto this, and the chaos is starting to ensue, and the Ascent are actually coming on top of it, as there is Salentes on the top, someone who's used to dealing with the chaos of this map, but he is going to go down. Raymond completely out of that, already in Saw. He does not want to be a part of it, and that's going to be a failed push from 7, but they are, you know, that was really, really well done by them, and the Captain is so good at those Uber exchanges.
Yeah, it was actually really nice from Skis. He got bombed on his right hand side and just managed to strafe and surf the whole way across the point. And managed to stay alive, and I think he had still 70% Uber or something. So now he's actually managed to stay alive. So he's got full ad for his team here. Sills in on him. He has 1 rocket, but nothing else. Skis is absolutely okay. He's at 100 HP still. He's fine.
And they're keeping hold of this Uber and using it to get mid, and now they're looking to come into grass. And any traps really set up by Cadus? Not really, as they do go in. Bot mode's actually going to go in very, very deep onto Battlements, and he's just pushing them out piece by piece. The last gets sorted, but so does Jay. And actually, an absolute collapse from 7 as Captain and Cadus go down, and the Ascent boys are chasing in lower. They clean up Starkey. Salentes is in behind, though, trying to deny. He is going to get cleaned up. And, oh, only Raymond left.
He's going to have to pop over.
He's just going to have to pop on the point.
He's going to get juggled off by bot mode here.
He's going to get popped off. Yeah, Cadus is going to look to come in.
He's going to let anyone out of spawn.
He's just not going to let anyone go forward. They're trying to go in. They're still denying a really, really good attempt from 7 right now. Cadus coming back onto the point. The Uber has been used by Skis, and it's going to be another round to send on Snake Water.
For the longest time there. I'm surprised he didn't just try and juggle Raymond off the point there with stickies. Just put up 5 stickies under his feet and just send them to the skybox. But it worked out in the end, so fair play. Fair play to Ascent. That will be 2-0 to them now.
Ascent looking so much stronger on this map right now. And bot mode is currently in again. Ascent have been totally waiting on the plays from, oh, Captain's in with a nice skip jump. Celender's over the top as well, but they are going to get cleaned up. Jay does as well, but Cadus, Starkey, 4 players down for 7. This is not something that they wanted at all. Raymond going down, and the only player left is tayyy. He does win a 1v1 against Laz, but he has to now backpedal out, and that's another mid fight to Ascent, looking very strong on this Snake Water map.
Yeah, the mid there, like Seven tried something a bit different with like Cap. tayyy is actually going to go for a very questionable high-risk play here, just doing the corner strat. He's just going to crouch staring at a corner and hope someone comes past him, but I think he's going to realize that all of Ascent are going choke here, and he's probably just going to run away and get caught out as he leaves.
I think he's maybe, as he leaves, he does get caught out. And whilst this is happening, Ascent just bully really, really aggressively. You look pretty disappointed in that, Cam. That wasn't
disappointed that I predicted how that play was going to go. I really hoped something better would happen, but no. Skis is going to come in, or Ascent are going to come in with full ads here. Sill's just dead already.
And they're coming on this left-hand side. They haven't dealt with the sentry gun just yet. Bot mode spamming it across. It is just going to be put out as Slemnish and Yike go onto the point.
Easy
and
nil there for Ascent.
Ascent doing really well. We have got a pause as well. And I think this is going to be, I don't think this is a technical pause. I think this is a classic Cadus stabilization.
I think it's more of, how would you put it, a technical pause. You know, like maybe a mouse died, or, you know, like someone spilt a drink on their mouse mat. You know, they're just going to need a couple of minutes to clean up the mess that's made, or charge like a wireless mouse or something. But no, Seven are just going to be sitting there. They're just going to be going over like why they're getting rolled right now.
I think it could be a myriad of things. Like you mentioned with that interesting play from tayyy, it could be that tayyy is playing a bit disconnected from what Cadus wants.
That's not a normal play for anyone on Seven.
That's
like weird plays like that.
That's definitely not a tayyy play as well. Tayyy is very, very solid. I've mentioned before, it's staying with the combo and being part of the team. And the fact that it's not Starkey doing that. If it was Starkey, wouldn't even bat an eyelid. But that does feel a little bit atypical to me.
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong, but that's how I'm seeing it right now.
Yeah, like I've played like a whole bunch of mixes and stuff with tayyy recently. That's definitely some clowny play that he would do, but in a mix, in a less serious game. But in an actual Seven game, no, I'd never expect him to do that. Maybe like it could have worked if Ascent had actually gone through Saw and not through Choke. It could have maybe worked. He might have got like either a trade or a force or something, but in the end he got nothing, and he got caught out. He waited just too long and to retreat. He either had to like fully commit and just wait until like he knew everyone had gone into second, or just leave like a lot sooner than he did. But in the end, as I sadly called it, he just got caught out when he was leaving.
And that is disappointing. But right now, even though you and I are Europeans, we do kind of, we do have that passion behind us for the Seven roster. Sen are bringing a lot to this game.
Yeah, it's very nice. As much as like I'm good friends with pretty much all of Seven, it's nice to see them, getting knocked down a peg here.
Competition is the most important thing at LAN, and having that and Ascent bringing such an amazing Snake Water match is really, really good. It does look like they actually paused and unpaused, so someone did disconnect. It was Cadus. Cadus actually disconnected. You mentioned earlier that we saw, he joined really late, and that could have been a technical issue. So he could be having an issue right now with.
Like there was issues for a few people. We were 11 people in the server, and Circa was left. I assume he was probably just switching HUDs for like the 5th time this LAN, but it took him, like 10 minutes to do that. Maybe he was sitting on HUDs TF, just like clicking through, trying to find a new one, but don't know. And then Cadus was on the server for the longest time. Then he was gone, and just I don't know. Seems like they're being plagued with some tech issues.
Yeah, and that's gonna affect them. Like they want to be playing at 100% and having a shoddy computer. No matter how good you are, you could be the best player in the world, but it's gonna affect you when you're playing against some of the best players on the NA scene right now.
The thing is, there's no blame to really be put. I think Cadus did bring his own PC, so if it was an issue with we have been unpaused here, but if there was an issue with like a PC, it's Cadus' own computer. I think only tayyy is on a rental, Captain brought his laptop, Stark's got his own PC, Raymond, ditto.
Oh, so it is very much going to be back into this. We're on our 4th mid right now, and we're going to be waiting for things. Maybe Cadus has got a new playbook. We will see as they're starting off this mid, and right now Soldier's actually playing a lot more passive. Captain trying to get into Kitchen, and they're waiting very, very passive right now. This is not what you expect from a Snakewater middle, and the read was perfect from Captain and Salentes. They pushed across quite nicely, but they did get cleaned up. And now the 7 players, you know, waited a bit too long, and Ascent are starting to clean house. They're on the chase, and they're looking for more players to clean up, and Raymond is completely out of there, not going to give up 100% Uberad. But right now, like, Ascent looking to even like they want to go in on this left-hand side. Slemnish leading the charge on 12 HP is going to get cleaned up by Cadus. Salenders bombing in. Right now, we are seeing trades out, and the 2 players from Ascent have gone down. And with Yike capping it up, he's going to have to backpedal.
I would like this from 7 here. Look, yeah, they're just not even going to give like Ascent a chance to like have an all-class get like Slemish or Sniper or something. They're just going to go in and take the Uber exchange. And Raymond managed to just get out from underneath J there. So there's no Ubers in play, but at least for 7, there's no off-classes. Like, they don't have to play against a Sniper right now, or a Spy even. They know that there's going to be all 6 people, all 6 cookie cutter classes there.
Yes, and now it's going to be very much down to what decisions Ascent make to try and push onto this last, and how 7 maybe want to change things, maybe get someone a bit deeper in, somewhere that they can catch a player out. You know, Ascent like to play that aggressive playstyle. They like to come forward, and I feel like 7 want to try and abuse that as much as possible, get them playing their game once again. Because if it was like Gully Wash, where they get into their flow, not necessarily getting Ascent to do exactly what they wanted, but being able to do exactly what they want on this map, they can take control very, very quickly. We've seen it before. We've seen them come back from this many rounds down before, so it's deciding on how they're going to do it. But Slemnish cleans up. Captain goes in onto Raymond. It is going to get cleaned up in the end, but that's actually not a pick that they wanted to lose out. And things are going to fiddle back as Laz goes down to the.
Yeah, this is like a pretty bizarre like sentry position from Stark. I think I've seen this like once or twice maybe. They know where it is, but it's really hard to deal with because there's this like, Jay actually goes down to Davis there as well. This isn't, like they're just kind of bleeding a little bit here on the side of Ascent. Flash is really aggro in lobby here. He just built out the Uber and then he went straight onto Sniper.
And he's looking to get some
Captain's
picks.
in deep on Oh! Skis goes down Captain with the air shot.
Oh my god, and alongside that, Slemnish saved Skis, but from the headshot, but didn't save him from the air shot. And that was a good, just, Thalash knew what to do at that moment. He knew that if he could get himself forward, get some entry picks, push themselves out, you know, pick classes can be so effective, and I feel like especially Slemnish has done a really good job of this, and this is a very different feeling 7 right now as they go in, clean up bot mode. Slemnish actually now is on Sniper. He's looking for a play, but he's gone down to 11 HP. He is easily fraggable, but he's managing to stay alive pretty damn well.
With the long range winner kill though.
Oh, as I say that, he does go down. And Captain Salentes pushing forward. Salentes doing some really good jobs, but not hitting those rockets he needed to. But they're flowing in right now. 7R being very, very aggro, almost chaotic, but very, very calculated in who they're trying to take out. And they've managed to coast this, take this to a position where they are now for the push in. They're going to dry push, maybe. As Captain goes down, they decide to back out. That's very much not what 7 would be comfortable with at all.
Yeah, look, Captain just wanted to try and get in. Like, they know they used like pretty late after like Skis had dropped there on second, so they know that they had the Uber disadvantage here. Slemish is going to be on Sniper again. Captain's holding the door open here. I think Stark's going to run back and play Sniper. He'll probably go Spy first, Spy check, and then go Sniper. So actually, they know that there's a Sniper now. Slemish has shown himself.
They're going to be aware, and it's going to be the Starkey and Slemnish duel on a completely different map, and Slemnish just dealing body shots here and there, but apart from that, nothing really happening. It looks like 7 are looking to get some space up. Starkey's going to be taking the heal, and they're going to be looking at some weird angles from Starkey as he is looking lower, but he's getting spammed by Laz right now. And it's very slow and methodical, exactly how 7 like to do it. They've got another really good angle, and I think Slemnish is actually in a really risky slot, and Starkey hits it very, very nicely, and he's looking to maybe go in, but he is going to get cleaned up by Jay, and Jay's denying this push really, really well. He is going to get pushed back, but he dealt so much damage that Cadis could not come in and get the space he wanted, and Ascent doing a good job using Laz and Jay as a sentry gun.
Oh,
bye!
That Jay doesn't miss those. Cell couldn't strafe much, but Jay does get the air shot there. The sentry, like, actually Ascent using pretty much the exact same sentry that Stark was using just a couple minutes ago. Does absolutely destroy Cell there and just skyboxes him. But Stark's respawned and he's staying on Sniper.
Well, one thing that he has always been renowned for is incredible off classes.
Yeah.
And I feel like Yites just, you know what, I'll take a page out of their book, and it's worked really well for them because Slenters did not expect that sentry to be in the position it was. Watching the back of Skis at the perfect time, and we're having another situation. And this time Slemnish wins it out.
The exact same angle, I think he was ready for it this time. He does get the best of Stark in the 1v1 there.
100%. And now Slemnish looking for some other frags. Very, very dangerous for Cadis to even pop his head. Slemnish looking for that opportunity, but not going to get any other frags as they're slowly walking in. You know, Cookie coming out of 7. They're not wanting to go for the sniper play anymore, not bothering with the 1v1 and maybe looking for some sort of play.
I don't think Stark's really feeling the sniper now. They could have run.
Oh, that's terrifying. And even like Raymond's so scared, he's just trying to shoot out Slemnish, trying to get a kill on him instead. And Slemnish now rotating to another angle, seeing if he can pick up another player, and he may be able to pick up Captain as he is getting spammed, but he's not able to do it, and he's so far forward, he could get caught out. And they're looking to maybe coming on this right-hand side with 2 scouts. Right now, they have got the sentry gun down. It has been used, and we have got crit.
Oh, Raymond goes down.
Raymond, what?
Popped up by Jay on the shutter door and just dies.
Oh my God! But the collapse coming in from 7. They did try and make it, but they do wipe on that last push.
Keys goes down as well, but that's
such a weird push.
Sent there. That was, yeah. Don't think I've ever seen a push that's gone quite exactly like that before, or even. No one pushes in from drop down. I don't know if that's something maybe 7 we're talking about in their pause, but you know they're looking a bit more dominant now. Like they're keeping Ascent stuck to their last basically.
I think what Cadis is doing is because 7 aren't the most confident on pushing Snakewater last. They're just doing the thing that they like to do, which is just completely rewrite how to play the map. As they're looking to go in on this right-hand side right now. Are they looking to get Cadis to spam across onto the sentry gun? If they can clean that up quickly, that's what they can do. They can maybe send in a player, look for Solentes as an opportunity to go in, maybe get on to Skis. But right now, as they're building, no one's got Uber. So
Sniper now instead of Slemnish. Well, Slemnish is building Uber, so.
Oh, Cadis is just going to go in, go on to Skis. Skis is so low. Skis stays alive as they manage to get that Uber. Jay now dealing some beautiful rockets and damage, and it is going to be another failed attempt and a really weird one. Raymond goes down in the back line. Jay's going to be cleaning up Thalash. No, Thalash is going to clean him up. And right now, oh, Skis went down. Starkey with the play, the 1v1, but Yate's going to come back and kill him out. But oh my God, they got Skis, Kermit.
Yeah, that. I was sitting watching, Yite on Sniper there, expecting something there. I did not expect the old Cadis play, like that's the sort of thing Cadis is known for, like just bombing in his demo, the old Kado play.
Well, he nearly got it, like Skis got to such a low HP, but he does end up going down, and Uber is an advantage to Raymond, so they kind of got their man in a weird way.
Building quite a bit better here. I swear Raymond. I guess actually, yeah, Skis over, so he couldn't have died quite at the same time. But yeah, because Raymond died so much earlier, he's actually got quite a big ad here. So it looks like 7 should want to go underneath and just push on the dot.
Yeah, they're going to push straight away. They're going to be using Cadis as a leading charge, trapping it off now, trying to trap off right and see what's going to happen. The sentry gun has gone down. Jay goes over, tries to skill stick Raymond, but right now, Captain onto Skis. Skis does go down. Did Skis just drop? It was very, very close.
If that wasn't a drop, he was incredibly close. But Stark and Rain are just going to run out here.
And yeah, sadly another failed push for 7 with 10 minutes left. They need to start getting rounds on the board, and they're just struggling to finish off the rounds. And it's just Ascent holding on to their last all the time. Yite setting up the sentry gun as well. They're just parking the bus. They're doing the European strat. They ain't coming out. They're just trying to deny 7 as much as possible right now.
Yeah, but like we were saying, they're parking the bus, but they are at like a 40-50% Uber disadvantage here. So this is all just going to come down to just raw DM basically. And yeah, the sentry gun's down already. Cadis has got that before they even Uber.
They're not even looking, and they weren't even looking for frags earlier, and now 7 actually not getting anything, but bot mode is going to go down, and they actually got so much time on the point, and that's going to be a round to 7, and that's how 7 like to do it, is they like to just separate the defending team away from the point, just stick a scout on there, and it's done. And that's the problem, is when teams start jumping onto point, denying that, they can't handle it, but that played perfectly into 7's hand, Kermit.
Yeah, like it was just nice that Captain managed to get skis on the back there, so that they would just have huge Uber advantage because Raymond and Stark managed to just escape. We're going to see a mid-tier. Laz has actually been much more passive this time, just staying in his own kitchen.
And Salentes actually like Goober stomps onto a scout, but Captain and Salentes are going to go down. Cadis with a nice pipe. He's going to try and get the second one onto Yite, but right now Starkey exchanging things out, but Ski's still alive. Raymond did go down. Jay now trying to chase the 2 scouts, and Ascent again winning another mid fight. I think 7 have only won 1.
Yeah, I think it was just on the last. Well, they've not even like they might have like technically come out on top of the mid, but they've still like both teams have always lost their medics basically on middles. Or 7 have definitely. Raymond has not survived a single mid. Like that one there was all on, I'd say, like mainly Laz. Like he just sat in his own kitchen and just waited for like the aggression from 7. As soon as like he heard the call that Raymond was on point, he just pushed out and got the frag easily, and then the rest was very, very simple and straightforward for the side of Ascent.
And now with a 100% Uber, they're looking to buff everyone up and get going. Thalash is actually hiding in spawn, hoping he can peek in at the last second and get onto Skis, but Skis isn't going to reveal himself that early. As they do go in, they are trying to deal with the sentry gun, but the sentry gun is staying alive so long, but it's not denying point. Getting a taste of their own medicine as Ascent gets so much time onto the point, but they have lost players, and it is going to be Ascent backing out, not getting the frags they needed, and 7 holding on to their last pretty convincingly.
Yeah, it's like that's one thing about that sentry position. It's you do have to get rid of it, but if you can somehow get onto the point, the sentry cannot like do anything to you. It doesn't cover the point at all, but just because it can cover like the high ground basically on that tower, you have to get rid of it. But it's in such a defensive position that it's just impossible.
Oh, Cadis was a big pike, trying to get the other one, but not going to connect. But both soldiers are down for Ascent. So 7 can...
Is behind on last in a 1v1 with Sil. He wins the 1v1
he won?
Sil on last.
No!
Gets the cap.
Oh, this is really not... This is not 7's game in any way, shape or form.
Yeah, they are not the same team like we've been seeing on LAN so far. Like, it has been a pretty long day. Like, maybe they're just like a bit tired or whatever. Like, I think it was around like... What time is it now? It's 11 o'clock. Like 5 hours ago, Stark actually went back to his hotel for a nap so he could be like a bit rested for this. So I don't know if the rest of 7 are like that.
Yeah, that's the thing with the upper bracket finals. They're usually at a time where everyone's a bit...
gone heavy to
oh my god, they I don't think they want to play anymore. They just want to have fun, and I can respect that. The heavy to mid strat, you know, look. Laz and Jay can't do anything, and bot mode's just getting absolutely dicked on.
Yeah, normally when you see this, Laz is still in his kitchen though, and the heavy's on point. Oh, he has been called. Stark could go back and get... Laz, he just, okay. 7 do win the mid. Normally I think it's Stark that goes the heavy to mid for the team, but I guess Sil was a bit tilted maybe from losing the 1v1 against Circa that he probably should have won.
Well, one thing that I spoke to Slenters about when actually I was on my way to the event is he said that this current roster of 7 is when they play how 7 want to play, is the best 7 that's ever existed. But if things don't go their way, it feels like one of the weakest. Yeah. And I think that's just because, you know, things like this, like I don't really know where they're going in for this play. They're going to go for it, and Cade is immediately going to, you know, I can see that right now 7 are thinking, you know, this is just a scrap. You've got
Slipnish gets still.
yeah.
The 7 just want out.
They don't.
As I say, like, I thought they might have improved on the map, but no. Oof, another headshot, I think that was there from Slipnish onto Flash, but he was just at the last of a buff there and managed to survive.
Yeah, this feels very much like a show match now of just Ascent getting more and more confident into Sunshine. But one thing about 7 is they're not the most tiltable team.
Yeah.
Like this, some teams, this situation would make them, you know, you think that they're tilted. They're probably just having fun, trying to keep hopes up for the Sunshine map as we are waiting for directs coming out of Jay. He's not able to connect them. Starkey now dealing with the Soldier that's currently in store, and Captain's going to join in on that. 7 looking to go forward, get some damage and pressure onto them. Slemnish actually currently in kitchen looking to get a hit, doesn't manage to do it. Jay does go down though to the 7 roster as they are pushing in and managing to get onto that mid, Kermit.
Yeah, if 7 want to do this, they need to push like really fast, and they can't make any more mistakes. They've got like 5 minutes left on the map to get at least 3 rounds. It's going to be really close. And we've got Jay's in, but he doesn't get any real damage onto Raymond. 7 are just going underneath straight away with the Ruber.
Yeah, and right now 7 looking to go in. They've actually haven't even capped up, but they're going with the pressure. They're looking to convert this into a round, but Skis has used his Uber, and there is a Soldier behind. Captain is going to get cleaned up as well as Salentes, and Ascent hold on to their last, but 7 look like they wanted to come back in. Cadus spamming away, and Ascent holding on to their last pretty confidently, and now they're pushing in. They've got the numbers, they've got the players. Last holding on to last means that they aren't going to deal with the classic European back cap strat, and they're going to be able to defend that last pretty confidently.
Yeah, like I don't know what it is. Just 7 just don't seem at all coordinated or seem to really know what the game plan is for ever pushing last year. Captain and Cell go down trying to get a pick onto Jay and Cheese there, and they both die. They can't even get one. But then Ascent, Laz and Jay do the same thing. They get a force, but they don't actually. They got a pick between the two of them. With all 4 soldiers going down for nothing there. This could be a round for 7 here, but Skis and Slemnish are building this Uber on last.
It depends how quickly 7 are able to actually get in, and they don't seem like they've got much momentum, and it is 100% Uber ad to Skis right now.
Yeah, I think honestly at this point I think we're kind of entering garbage time. Like there's no real way that 7 are going to be able to get even a draw here. Honestly, I'm saying this is really just it's going to be at least like 4 something to Ascent here.
Yeah, this is going to be very much a sense match. They've done a really good job as we see the last bits of this game, and 7 right now looking to go in, maybe just go with an Uber straight in through Shutter. And actually, no, they're going to rotate on the left-hand side. They're going to clean it up at the Soldier. No! Skis there to catch his teammate out. The sentry gun is down, but that's all they're going to get. And the Ubers have been exchanged. We may see a re-push out of 7, but they've actually rotated into the worst thing you can, which is Stickies. Yite on top with the Buddhist, trying to deal onto Cadus. Cadus is going down. Raymond taking a huge amount of damage, and the tracking work is going pretty well. Bot mode cleaning up. Captain the last survivor. 2 minutes 40 left. Last attempt. Really, you don't have the time to do it at all.
Yeah, it's GG now. Like it'd be pretty much like a full minute per round here for 7 if they wanted to equalize, and they're just not going to be able to now. This is definitely garbage time now. And we do have like ad again for Skis. Slemnish is just sitting on Sniper because why not? Might as well try and get some headshots like that one. He gets onto Captain there. Gets a body shot into Lash.
Yeah, Slemnish going to be looking to pop off, but you know what? We've got 2 minutes left. Do you wanna talk about this? Do you wanna give your opinion?
Hopefully 7 can just have a better showing on Sunshine.
I feel like that they, even though Sunshine was very strong for Froyotech, I felt like it was last year, like Froyotech was a much stronger team. Like they just were better at Sunshine in general. I feel like 7 are very confident on the map. I feel like it is going to be very close. But I tell you what, I couldn't call it. I couldn't call it for the life of me.
Yeah, it just, yeah, it'll just be, you just see on the night basically like how it goes. Like I think last year though, at ICs or just before ICs, I don't think Sunshine had actually been played in the TF2 season. So like it hadn't really been practiced that much by any European teams at all.
Oh, Jay.
With a nice rocket onto the lash there.
Yeah, and Starkey's currently in. He's going to get cleaned up. And yeah, it's just, this is more just a show match. Everyone fragging out. It's more like the DM before the next round.
Yeah,
there is
going
nothing.
on skis. Is he going to get more?
Raymond, no, unlucky.
He had a good couple tries there. He almost got it.
But no, the guys from across the pond showing us how to play Snakewater. Congratulations to Ascent. It'll be about 45 seconds and
If
the
it
crowd
wasn't
can do
already a
that.
sense map, yeah, Stark and Flash both left spawn as sniper there, but Stark kill binds. Don't want to have both snipers affecting gameplay. I think that's the grounds for a default.
Yeah, it just feels like DM right now. Everyone's just everywhere, just fragging each other. Raymond just got killed by Laz.
Yeah, this is where some people have tried to make the argument where there should just be like an exclamation GG command or something for a plugin where like it's been garbage timed for almost a full like 2 minutes now. We could have just GG'd out, we could have just moved on and Seven could have gone, had like a smoke break or whatever, just got some air and just come back ready for map 3, but no, instead we're gonna sit through the garbage time.
It is what it is, but congratulations to Ascent EU. Excuse me? Ascent EU? Don't you mean Ascent NA? HUD? Hello? Hello? Well, closing takes on that?
Seven haven't really seemed to have improved on Snakewater as much as I'd thought they had. That was just completely dominant, really. Like they after the I'll call it the technical pause, not the tactical pause. After the pause, they did seem a lot better. Like their mid went better. The heavy to mid worked relatively well for them.
But how did you come back
just
from 3?
Last pushes, as you said, their problem was last pushes, and they just couldn't push last at all. Basically, they just over and over they just failed last pushes.
Yeah, it didn't feel. You know, they got one round where they got them the classic last push that they like to do.
Yeah.
But describe another last push that Seven do on the map that works. They just.
Yeah.
The only one is they put a scout on point. They push them into spawn. They spam out spawn. That's it.
Yeah.
The moment that the enemy team reacts and starts throwing in chaos, pushing the players apart, going in on point, standing on top of point, it feels like Seven just kind of panic and don't know what to do, and they start losing players very, very quickly.
Yeah. A lot of it seems like it's the scout on the Uber that would play the point and is pretty much always the lash. Just seems I don't know if he's like overcommitting for like cap time on the point, but he just dies like all the time. Like Cadis doesn't sticky him off, and he dies to like a soldier. I don't know. It just always seems that they just can't get the team synced up to get a point play really working for them.
Yeah, 100%. And we're going to pass it over to our analysis desk now, Kermit, because these boys have been watching in the crowd. They've been feeling the kind of vibe, and they're going to be able to tell us and break down. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, maybe it's the last pushes, maybe there's more to it. Obviously the mid fights were very strong from Ascent, but you're going to hear it from Turbo Tabs, Dum Tum and Epley. So take it away, boys.
Thanks, Grumpy, and welcome back to the analyst desk. And EU has taken a taste of its own medicine, and it is not sweet, boys. It is not nice. It seems Seven could not push last point to save their life. Why? No, please, why? Why?
I mean, let's start at the beginning with the mid-fights, right? I can only remember the one with the heavy being the one they won. And the heavy already, it seems like an odd choice, but we've seen it before out of them on product specifically against Ascent NA, EU, in the regular season of ETF2. So it's not 100% surprising. They've done it before. I've seen them use it in scrims every once in a while. It's some idea they toyed around with, and it fits the playstyle well enough to just shut down options for the other team. So it works with what they're doing, but obviously those adjustments all came way too late. It was already 3-0. Seven, even at their best, is not a team known to just act quickly out of any situation. So even the one chance they had where they eventually got into last, it was like this really slow thing where they just eventually grinded out the last push after a couple of tries where they had initial playtime on the point already to work with. Kind of like they do on Gully Watch, but Snakewater last doesn't really allow for that too much. It's like the straightforward last point. Everything that you can do is in front of the enemy, where on Gully Bosch, for example, you have like all-around approaches from every single angle as well as from underneath the point, where overwhelming the enemy with options is much, much easier. Snakewater doesn't allow for that, and 7 seems to suffer for it.
All right. We do actually have the logs ready, so we'll get them loaded up for you. But equally, you got to tell me, when you saw that heavy come to mid, is that a sign of 7 losing it here, or is that a sign of 7 maybe turning things around?
I feel like it's more a case of, based on the amount of time they had left in the game, they were like, okay, if we want to win, we kind of need something dramatic. And I feel like a heavy to mid on Snake is fairly dramatic. I mean, they won it. I don't think they actually even got any frags. They just kind of stood around, and I feel like the other team just kind of went, can't really be bothered jumping into a heavy. That doesn't seem great, honestly. So, I mean, it kind of works. I feel like it's something, you know, I'd much rather see that than see a team, you know, have the same kind of catastrophic mids time and time again. I'd much rather see kind of, you know, people trying different things. In terms of what Dom was saying about the last pushes, I really feel like a significant portion was the fact that, you know, bad demos will sticky the point on Snakewater last. The better demos will sticky the roof of the point and the back of the point and then the point itself, and then it makes it really difficult to scatter all the sticks at the same time. I honestly feel like with 7, as much as I feel like all I'm offering teams is weird gimmicky unlocks, it was probably worth giving Quickies a shot at some point, surely, right? Getting that initial position onto point, getting those stickies off and getting Thanos kind of able to begin the cap time is so significant with how 7 want to push last, but it felt like you'd always lose someone to bot mode stickies.
All right, boys, we've got some mathematical genius in front of you here, courtesy of logs.tf. So is there anything that's kind of jumping out from you from this this Snakewater?
I mean, you see both soldiers on Ascent and A performing really well, and again, like on a mid fight, they just had the say, and 7 soldiers really didn't have any say on the meta at all. They were shut down every single time they approached, no matter from where, even after the pause, where they surely took the time to figure out how to approach the mids better. They were just, again, shut down right away. Celentis and Captain couldn't do much at all on the mid fights, while Lance and Jay consistently had success with their bombs. And even outside of that, they still performed really, really well here. So it's just that matchup alone already makes a huge difference here.
Okay, boys. I mean, obviously this is going to be like a huge problem map for 7. Is it the point where you start banning out this map first priority above all other maps, or do you really need to like just go over it and try it one more time if you meet them again in Grand Final?
It's so difficult to say, right? In a best of 5 Grand Final, you only really get 1 ban. Well, depending on exactly how the upper bracket thing works. Either way, there's only 2 maps in total that's going to get banned, so you've got to be really careful about everything. I feel like it would be pretty scary playing Ascent NA on Viaduct. I feel like there are some of the other maps, like, I'm going to be really interested to see what happens with Sunshine, honestly, but if I was 7, I probably would just take the safer thing, and, you know, you can theorize, you can hypothesize about what makes the most sense, but you know for a fact that Snakewater is a bit of an issue. I probably wouldn't look to risk it in a Grand Final. I mean, like, you look at kind of Yite going 25 for 9, Slemnish going 25 for 12. Like, all of these players are doing so well. They clearly kind of understand the mids, the transitions, every part of the map so well. I will take a moment just while we're here to shout out Celentes as being an honorary Russian with 425.
I'll say, I was about to cut you off. I was like, we've got some 25s. We've got 4 for 25 and 12 for 25.
We do. I feel like, yeah, I feel like I'm just going to leave it at shouting at the Russians for the minute.
All right, it's okay. I'll give you some nicer stats, something that seems a bit healthier. Let's look at some health packs being picked up. Come on, guys. Additional stats. Woo! Oh, no, medic stats. I mean, health. It's still health. Close enough. Yeah?
Oh.
All right. Oh, hey, there you go. Here's the health packs. All right. Now, this is a happy stats, Dean. There's no negative connotations about this, right?
I mean, Celentes and Captain hit quite a lot of air shots, and ultimately that's all that really matters in TF2. The rest is a little bit pointless. However, Yite captured all of the points, and that's how you win.
Yep, he does have a lot more captures than 7. I can confirm that. I mean, we always gloss over these stats here, Dum Tum, but is there anything we could actually gather from health packs? Maybe you've got a revolutionary way that we can kind of like, oh my god, this actually reads a lot into a player's playstyle.
I wouldn't say really with what I've seen that anything like has any different context with watching the game necessarily. Obviously, yeah, like Equally said, is the camp scout here. That's about as obvious as it gets. But it also goes to show that like that structure is there for them, right? They know exactly who has to do what in every single push. They know when they're pushing forward, the tayyy is the one to cap. And sure, 7 has that same structure to them with Flash trying to be the one on the point, but the difference is obviously that Ascent and A is not letting them like play the point at all here. And if you can't play the point while the Uber's on, then there's not so much pressure from the Uber coming itself, because the other team just has no pressure trying to rush out of spawn and deal with the incoming Uber to reach the point in the first place.
All right, production. I'll take those medic stats now. I'm hungry for them. I've had a taste. I want the entire beehive. All right, what have we got here? So we've got a drop coming out of skis. Nothing too exciting. Honestly, nothing's really jumping out at me from these stats. It just goes to show like what sort of rolling over game Ascent have.
I mean, if you just look at like the general numbers here, everything like is a higher number for skis, and in most circumstances, that's not necessarily something you want to see. You don't want to like sit there, not use your Ubers. You don't want to sit there, lose your advantages. But if you're 4-1 up and the other team just can't figure out an answer, then suddenly those traditionally bad numbers suddenly turn in your favor, and it just goes to show how the game went with Ascent just sitting and waiting, and 7 being the ones forced to push the issue.
Yeah, I honestly feel like that game, it was basically exactly what you said, really a taste of 7's own medicine, where Ascent got themselves a big old kind of advantage in terms of rounds, and then they were happy just to stand around just as much as 7 was on Gully Wash, really. I mean, they tried a few different things here and there, but like, realistically, they spent a lot of time on their own last just accepting that 7 couldn't work out how to push it. And it was the exact same situation as 7 had on Gully Wash. As a result, the fact that skis had less Ubers doesn't really matter. The fact they had less time before using doesn't really matter, because after a certain point, when you're 3 rounds up, you're just kind of ticking down the clock, You're not really incentivized to get those remaining rounds, because it's like, it's just safer for you to continue holding as long as you're good at holding, If there were issues, if 7 had suddenly fixed all of their kind of last pushes, then there would have been a massive incentive for Ascent to use their Ubers more aggressively, or to kind of, guard a bit more. But they were happy just to grind 7 down.
And with the conclusion of these stats is the conclusion of our Snakewater analysis. It's time to look forward into our next map for this best of 3. And I mean, keep in mind, it's gone to a best of 3. I mean, everyone's a winner when there's a third map, right? Yeah. I'm trying to keep things positive here, you. Okay, so we're going into Sunshine immediately out of the gate. Any sort of things that kind of catch your eye about Sunshine, or kind of makes you worried about Sunshine for either of these teams, Tom?
I mean, in the EU scene, Sunshine is a map that's traditionally fairly good for 7 overall. They're really strong on it compared to other EU teams. However, it's like the on and off map in ETF2. Sometimes it's there, sometimes not. At the moment, we have the opportunity to play it in our league, but it's a lot more consistent within an ATF2, and that might just make a difference here. Just constantly having to play the map, always being prepared for it against specific opponents as well, to just always figure out new ways to play the map, might just give Ascent and A an advantage that 7 might just not have here.
You got anything to say about Sunshine, equally?
I mean, unfortunately, there's a negative connotation. When you think of the last time 7 played an American team on Sunshine at LAN, it didn't go particularly well. A little bit of a disaster. However...
But which team was this? Was this the one with Tiger, or was this the one with Silentes?
Well, it is a different look 7, right? I will give them that, and I feel like an important thing to kind of consider is the fact that 7 let this map get through, right? So they're going to be kind of fairly confident that they do stand a decent chance in doing this. It might be a case that this is their trial by fire. Maybe they're happy to lose this best of 3 to learn whether Sunshine is a pick that they can consider in the future. But I think it's going to be really, really interesting. If 7 can manage to win this Sunshine, it's going to show either a massive progression since we've seen them at last I Series, or it's going to see that Ascent and A is a very different beast to some of their other American counterparts.
Yeah. Speaking of beasts, I think we need to feed the beast. That is the sponsorship. So we should probably head over to a quick sponsored ad, and then we'll come right back to more analysis. We'll see you soon. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the prediction desk. Yep, you heard me right. There's no analysis here. We're just going straight into predictions. And I mean, we can educatedly guess things as much as we want, but it's still a guess at the end of the day. I'm really curious about your educated guesses. So please let me in. Let me just know what you think this Sunshine map's going to be.
I still have confidence in 7. However, Ascent and A can't be underestimated, as we've seen here, that they are perfectly capable of contesting 7 to the level of play necessary. So honestly, the only prediction I want to make is that we see the closest game possible, and I hope for a golden cap.
Oh, that's quite nice. So then think about that. I forgot about the golden cap. Eepily. That sounds like a fun, exciting prediction. Got a better one?
It does. I think it would probably kill me. It's going to sound weird, right? But as much as I predicted that, 7 was going to win the best of 3 kind of 51% of the time, the more I think about things, the more I think that this might be exactly kind of, 7's trial by fire in terms of Sunshine, and they might be going into this expecting things to go away from them. I think it is going to favor to Ascent and A.
All right, okay, we're going straight into it. We're going back to our casters. It's Kermit, it's Grumpy, it's 7 versus Ascent.eu. I mean, NA, god damn it.
Welcome to the grudge match between 7 and Ascent.NA Turbo Tabs. We are going to be going into it very, very shortly, but we've got a absolute corker and a terrifying map in that regards, which is Sunshine. For 7, not the best map, but not their worst.
Yeah, I think we just saw their worst map.
Yeah, we just definitely saw their worst. But Ascent are super, super strong as well, and they've proved that, when we say about teams not being, 7 not being that strong on Snakewater, usually like 2 rounds difference.
Yeah.
Usually it's like, not nearly a 5-0, not nearly sort of the environment.
Win difference is never like a threat, really.
Yeah, it's never been like, I don't think, have we seen 7 be win difference before, like at this stage?
I couldn't even say the last time I saw them get win difference at all, even in the regular season.
Yeah.
They only lost 1 actual ETF12 fixture this season, and it was to Faint.
They were golden caps.
Sure 2 golden caps, that they lost. I think it was Metalworks, which isn't even in the map pool.
So Ascent are an absolute terrifying, proposition right now, and it depends on what happens, later tomorrow as well. But we are going to be going live. I am bringing you guys to Sunshine. We are going to be doing 7 versus Ascent.NA. This is a best of 3. This is the final map. The first map going to 7. The second map going to Ascent with a very convincing victory. We're going to be going into this first mid right now. And Bot Mode and Cadus are trading left, right, and center. We're going to see the bombs coming in from Salentes. He's looking to deal some damage, but he's just going to die to himself. But Bot Mode goes down, Jay goes down, Yike goes down. And that is looking very, very good. But Laz even fucking pounding.
Laz is just an absolute beast. Raymond is Raymond,
what are you doing? Oh my God, he's going to... No, Raymond, shoot it! Oh!
Oh my God, Raymond is an absolute beast.
Raymond, he manages to smack the guy into the air, escape. Did he hit that saw?
I think he did, yeah. He hit the saw as Jay came up and just skyboxed him. He missed. Sadly, didn't get the very rare but still appreciated medic earshot. He did miss the crossbow, but he survived, and he's now got an 80% overcharge advantage here over his skis. So yeah, Ascent aren't even going to fake a hold on second. They're just hard holding last year.
And it's weird. That was really, really not one-sided at all. It was the scrappiest mid-fight I've seen on Sunshine in a very long time. And now 7 looking to go in. They've managed to keep their med alive. And they're going to go in on the right-hand side, deal with his sentry gun as quickly as possible. Yite is going to go down. Well, his sentry gun and the bombs coming in from Cadus. He deals onto bot mode. Bottom mode's going down. They're cleaning up players, but players being cleaned up as well. And Ascent right now are holding on to their last. With Raymond backing out, they've got the advantage, but may they get pressured? No, it doesn't look like they're getting pressured too hard. Laz may be looking for chase, but right now, nope.
Yeah,
but Ascent are going to take their second.
I think Captain, it was, managed to pick up skis there, so as long as Raymond lived, 7 are going to be happy. They don't care about picking up second here, because it's an easy pick. Skis is way back on last, there's no over heels out on second yet. Though this, I say that, they go in.
Oh, Skis
That's
goes
never
down to
Raymond.
Captain and Salentes dealing out on Jay. And right now, Slemnish putting in some work on the point. He's cleaning up Starkey as well, some really, really good work. And Captain and Cadus, the only surviving members versus Bot Mode and Slemnish. And they're looking to battle this out. Cadus is currently in mid, but Captain manages to get Bot Mode. He's going to get chased by Slemnish, takes a huge amount, deals another rocket, nearly gets the pack.
That was almost 3 1v1s in a row that Captain won there. He won one against Gate in like 4, and then he got the one against Bot Mode. Like, that was just scout class.
It's been such a scrappy game so far, Kermit, as Jay and Laz bomb in. Laz is going to get cleaned up. Cadus dies to his own damage, but 7 are winning out this fight right now and are going to be able to get second. But Ubers are so close. There isn't a huge advantage to either side, just spawns, but the spawns are going to be coming up in about 5 seconds. And Salenta is going to use that as an opportunity to go in. He goes on to bot mode. He's not able to connect anything, tries to go on the skis, and he is going to go down. But 7 just push off the point. There's so much time on the point as the 7 trying to stop them. The Uber has come up, but Skis is not going to get it. He's at 94%. He's going to go down, and that's going to be the first round going to 7.
That was just so well. Like, 7 knew they had to get in. Like, they had to get in when they did. They had to get in while Ascent were still 3 down, and Skis was so close to the Uber there. That's just heartbreaking to see. He's just running with, he's at 95 Uber, and he's just running with his saw on the point. But well played by 7. It was just well read.
Perfectly read by 7, and they're going to be coming into the second mid. And right now, 7 need to have a much stronger mid if they want to capitalize on this victory, and they are looking to clean up on some damage done by Cadus, but they managed to get bot mode. Cadus actually get the frag light, having a Flowers 1v1 and winning it out against Captain. And right now, Ascent actually only losing bot mode, able to stay in. 3 players down on 7, so they are actually going to win the mid, but both meds are alive and have Uber.
Yeah, Jay's going to try. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, I thought he was going to maybe sack or something while they're down, but no, the Ascent are just going to go for just a full push here.
Yeah, they're going to push them out. That's a really, really good job actually from Ascent right now, but able to push it out. Salenta's looking for an opportunity to bomb. Laz going super low, but no real connection as there has been a trade. And the bomb's coming in from Captain. Not really connecting anything though. Yike does go down, so that's another frag on the side of 7 that will work to their advantage. And right now, Ascent just backpedaling as dry pushes are coming out. Ubers are equal though, so I feel like 7 are going to want to smooth things out, calm down a bit, get Cadus back in it, and look to make those plays that, you know, Cadus, old Kado, has some history on this map.
Yeah, there's a, oh god, yeah, he's like that one clip where he tries to jump through a choke about 1,000,000 times and he keeps failing until it works. But like a classic play here is just like the bot mode just spam stickies at Raymond. As soon as he has like one good sticky, Jay or Laz, whoever's got more health, will just bomb through onto Raymond. It just makes the force like so much easier.
And they are waiting for the setup, Jay going in, but bot mode looking to rotate. I think they're going to try and make a play through Cafe, and they are going to get met by Cadus and Captain, and they are exchanging it. No soldiers managed to get in. Laz
1v1 against Laz in the flank there.
Laz did manage to go down, Kermit, and really right now,
Cell's just he is in on to Skis. He has somehow didn't hit that rocket. Looked incredibly close to him, but I guess
yeah, didn't connect. Captain maybe looking to bomb in as no Jay goes in for a play. Thalash is going to clean that up, and we are back to the classic mid to second affair on Sunshine, whilst Ascent are spamming across and hopefully getting that damage onto Raymond to start things up. And we're going to see the bomb actually go. Oh, he got suspended.
Captain with the air shot there, and Captain just goes instantly just back in for the counter sack, but it's unsuccessful. I was going to say actually, well, Jay was down. Jay could actually have come up on Sniper. Like, he is like the pocket soldier, but Jay's like gotten some pretty insane snipes. I'm not sure if like 7 are going to eventually run an off-class here. Like they are 1 round up, so like, you know, they're perfectly content with parking the bus.
Yeah, they don't want to make any mistakes because Ascent are very good at kind of continuing forward off those mistakes, and that's definitely how they played Snakewater. But Jay is going to go down once again. They're not connecting the damage onto Raymond. That strategy would work really, really well for them, but bomb mode isn't hitting that damage as Laz right now denying
yes,
Captain.
gets in from Cafe and gets the force on his skis.
I didn't even see that. It wasn't actually on the stream, so thanks for spotting that out for me. And right now we are backpedaling with Ascent, and Cadis bringing his team in. He's got that Uber advantage. They're going to be looking to go in and hopefully get some picks. Player has gone into Cafe. Bombs coming in from Laz. They have managed to use. Yite has gone down. Laz has gone down. Cadis going in with the pipe damage. Not able to connect anything else. I think Cadis might go in a little bit further, but decides not to, as Lentes is in through Flowers as well. And the bomb does come in from Cadis. Cadis doesn't manage to connect anything. Salentes tries as well and also gets cleaned up. And bot mode actually manages to save. This is just a sack. Raymond goes down as well. That was 4 people for 1.
That was... I could see the very start of that why Sim wanted to go in. They had 2 picks and they knew that Skis had Uber advantage, but then I don't know why they sent all 4 people in. Stark actually someone got forward spawn there and held the door for Stark, so he's gone on to Sniper. He's going to be hiding here. Hopefully doesn't show too early.
Yeah.
But that was just kind of, I think
that was so
it was just beef from everyone really on 7. I think like Cadis kind of missed a bit, then Captain and Sil ditto.
Yeah, Starkey looking to get a headshot. He does get that headshot onto Jay, but I think that's all he's going to be able to get. He's not going to be able to get onto Skis, as he is still trying to get himself in, distract a little bit.
We'd kill Jay if he somehow gets the quick scope on him. Jay was exactly 150, but Stark just overextends.
Bot mode actually going in lower. They have managed to use that Uber, and right now the sentry gun hasn't even denied them slightly. They're not managing to connect on it, but they need to start getting time on the point as they have used that Uber. They're paying up now. Time for Cadis goes in, denies Yite, and right now 7 need to start just cleaning up, denying that area. Bombs coming in. Actually, things are falling on the side of 7, and Ascent are having to backpedal out, but trade to peace, and to Lash on the chase does click out Laz, but was there an Uber coming out? Yeah, the Uber actually came out on Raymond, so advantage is back onto Skis, and 7 are looking to come out. Starkey taking a huge amount of damage, Slemish fighting him in lower, Yite's going to actually clean him up, and right now Ascent back in advantage.
I don't know if I actually have seen these teams play this map before, but I just got an incredible deja vu there of Stark and Sarka in that 1v1 on bottom right. That was bizarre, but it's huge ad here though for Skis. Like this could just be like with how well that last push went previously. This could easily be a round here for Ascent NA.
Yeah, and Ascent have gone on the right-hand side. They've dealt with the sentry gun. Laz now coming in and completely collapsing onto Cadis. Cadis going down, Raymond down as well. Salenta's going for the frag. But right now, Ascent looking pretty confident. But Starkey denying them. He does end up going down. Jay with the final frag. They're putting the time on the point. That's a wipe, and that's a round apiece.
That was nicely played from Ascent.
Well done.
Raymond, they just caught Raymond out as well, like trying to rotate from like the right to left, and he was just took a couple seconds, but he was a pretty easy frag in the end. Just very nicely played.
And we're going to be coming into this third mid, and it's looking really, really close. Little mistakes here and there from 7, but I feel like they can still go forward. Bot mode a little slower, kind of beefing his rollout. Does take a bit of damage straight at the start, as we do see the Ascent boys get into position to start making things happen. Captain around the side is going to get control of Tetris. Go on to Skis. There's no one to defend it. Skis just goes down very, very quickly. Salenta's down as a response, and now they just need to protect Raymond. They don't need to risk too much. They can come back in. They don't want to be using it on mid, but if they can get the frags and use that pressure of having an Uber onto Ascent, and hopefully, if they do get forced on, get some really good frags off it, Cadis can run this all the way to last with his team.
Super deep in, like through Valley there on his own. I guess he knows that no one on the side of Ascent is actually going to be close, but really aggro. Sarka going for, again, another playthrough Cafe here. No, he's just going to try to come back in. He might get a 1v1. Yeah. Like, that's like 3 times I think he's done it, and I think he won the 1v1 against Stark once, but that's been it.
Now, and so many frags going on the way of Ascent, and they managed to get the force out of Raymond, and Raymond is going to be chasing with Talash, and they're going to be looking to get onto Skis, but Skis manages to stay alive. Bot mode is going to be the one to go down, but the collapse comes in from Jay, and he does get Raymond. Talash now just slicking it in, he gets Skis, he's on the 1v1 as well. Talash just pops off and gets the 3K. And right now, 7 going to be feeling very confident, getting advantage back in their favor. It's not going to be a huge amount, Kermit, but Talash showing his stripes.
Yeah, just because no one really died with Raymond there, he's just had no one to heal, so it's actually going to be perfectly even over here. And one thing is, like, I'm surprised that, I guess just that it's the way like for 7 definitely it's the way they play. They will never run crits, but there have been a good few times where they could have run it and like had like good advantage, but I guess they're just, they don't want to have to, you know, rely on what essentially boils down to just being a gimmick sort of play.
Well, it's kind of there's so much RNG based on it, because everyone has to be in the right place at the right time, and the stick has to, you know, land exactly where you need it to. And there's so many, you know, unconfirms that I can imagine Cadus just not being a fan of using crits, especially in this situation. But right now, team's building it out. Big bomb coming in from Sil, but he's not going to be able to connect anything. Skis just letting all those rockets breeze past, and Slemnish does clean up Salentes, and they're looking to send in a player. I think Laz maybe?
Yeah, Laz is behind. He's on 7 seconds here.
Yeah, he's behind, causing a little bit of space. He's being chased right now, actually.
Stark's just going to hunt him down. He doesn't want Laz to be able to get anything done.
And really, they're not really finding him. They do manage to connect onto him now. And Cadus just watching Choke, trying to get that spam onto the players. And 7 are actually coming in on the left-hand side right now. They've used their Uber. Captain actually staying out of it as the exchange goes in. They try to force, but Ski staying alive for so long, going down to 14 HP as Ascent go in with the chase. 7 players are getting behind. Salenta's going in for the bomb as well, trying to get onto Skis. Bomb mode is going to go down, and 7 are going for the collapse, but not getting the frags they need. Laz going down, Raymond going down. No, this is not good. Starkey going for the last ditch attempt. The last manages to get Skis though.
And during all of this, bot mode has just timed out. But there's been, yeah, there's the pause there.
What a scrappy fight so far.
Yeah, that was incredibly clutch, the pick onto Skis at the end there. I'm not sure what bot mode's positioning was though, like when he timed out, if it might have gone like differently if he had been there to just protect his medic.
No, 100%. It has been very, very scrappy. Both teams overextending, but I really like the way that Ascent, as soon as that happened, they barreled on, and if it weren't for that clutch play from Thalash, it would have been a much worse situation to be in.
Yeah.
But bot mode has joined. We're going to be going back into the server. It's not a huge delay. Could have just been a random DC, but that could have been why the positioning was off. He could have timed out.
It did say in the chat, Ascent bot mode has timed out, so I'm not sure how that's managed to happen.
So that would have been the case. So maybe that frag that kind of started everything off was due to a DC. But right now things are equalized again. And we're waiting for how 7 are going to push forward on this. They want to get the round back.
Skis died that late, and he actually is at a bit of a disadvantage here in the Uber. I don't know if 7 are going to try and take it aggro, or if they're just going to try and just bomb Still and Captain in again for Skis. Because honestly, the bombs onto Skis have not gone very well at all so far. Like even when they did, you know, that horrific 4-man sack where, you know, Cadus, Captain, Sil, and I think Stark, everyone basically ended up going in. They didn't hit a thing onto Skis.
No, they didn't hit a thing, but the Uber has been used. They've not connected anything, so this is a back pillow. And I think Laz is actually behind them as well. He's going to try and go on the place of Raymond. He gets Raymond! Oh my god! Laz should not have got away with that, and now Thalash is going to have to try and go for another clutch play, as he hasn't even been spotted. Look at this trigger discipline. He's going to go in. He's going to get out. Oh, he gets the force. But that was some really good trigger discipline. He didn't. He waited, and he went for the play at the right moment. And if he hit it, that would have been stunning. But, you know, they brought advantage back on their side. Well, actually, it's equal right now. Ascent want to bring this forward. They're coming in, trying to get in on the 7 players, but they're handling it so well. They're not really taking that much damage. The bombs are coming in. The soldiers are joining them from 7 as well. Salenta's coming in on the side, and Ascent are going to have to backpedal out, otherwise they are going to get wrapped.
Kate is doing some bizarre bomb there round onto the cafe. Right now it's going to be even Ubers here. No one's dead, so no off classes. I expect to see probably Laz try and get in behind soon. Laz is just incredible. Like he just anytime he sees like the smallest opportunity, he takes it. It's what was he say? Give an inch to take a mile. It just seems like that. Laz is just in. He's in onto Raymond.
Oh, so much damage onto Raymond, but he doesn't connect the rocket, and Raymond's just going to backpedal, get that pack, and with Laz down, we may see a sack attempt coming out of 7. Let's see what they try and do. Right now, Captain was looking in-house, but decided not to do anything, and we're going to have things fiddle out once again as 7 are calculating, coming up with plans, whilst Descent are getting ready for maybe another sack, or in this case, Slemnish.
Yeah, I think Laz just held the door open for Slemnish. He's going to snipe maybe. Yeah, Kathy. It's pretty hard to actually snipe into this second. I'd say like all the angles are really tight. Like this one here that Slemnish is on.
Super tight, and he's going to have to he'll have like milliseconds to get a hit there. And he's looking for Raymond. He sees the beam, but he's not found it just yet. And he
they do obviously know he's there. Like they can see the sniper dot just against the wall, so they're going to have to be playing really passively here, 7, just to make sure they don't get sniped.
Yeah, they're going to have to play really, really passive as Slemnish looking for some extra space. This is a good time to just bomb over the top and deal with this sniper, or maybe send in someone behind. You know, Laz is all on his own right now, and no one's really watching Choke as much as they should be. They're kind of all trying to help with this Slemnish play. And things are actually now going to be Slemnish going into Choke, and he's taking quite a bit of damage. He hasn't managed to connect anything, looking for the frags. And Ascent like this. They like to try and play off that Slemnish sniper. And 7 are just denying every angle that they're trying to put Slemnish through right now, Kermit.
Yeah, they're just rotating along with him. Like, cause whenever they see Laz go, they just go there as well. So it just makes like the angle like even harder for them to beat. So they're just that much closer.
Yeah, and Slemnish taking a huge amount of damage once again. And things are very, very, very slow but methodical as they are looking to get this angle in. And Slemnish still looking for the angle. Nearly got a shot on the Cadus. That would have been something. That would have been a really, really good thing to have. Tries to hit another shot. Just watching this angle the entire time. They're not going to peek. Like, Raymond's not going to put his head in that slot. No, neither is Captain. Like,
Captain's just playing with him. He's like jumping into the hellbang and crouching and doing spinning. He's doing some spins, like just taunting him basically. It's not as if 7 are winning as well. It's 1-1, but Captain's just having a good time anyway.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. And
yeah,
with that though, you gotta imagine you're playing a high intense game and the soldier starts dicking with you.
Yeah. They just like, start messing around, like, why is this guy peeking me like this? Why is he doing this? Laz has gone in though, he's deep behind, he's in lobby now.
He is going to get chased, but he's actually not being contested too much. He nearly had an opportunity to bomb, but he did get spotted out. And they're just aware of this soldier being behind. Starkey's actually going to take quite a bit of damage in this 1v1. And Laz is going to get the pack again. And currently, whilst this is happening, Slemnish trying to again get an angle. Ascent still playing the same game, trying to get maybe a frag. K just drops down and crouches to deny it. Laz is still having the 1v1 out the back. Like he's still fighting for his life, and Starkey's trying to find an opportunity to go in. And Slemnish again trying to get that pick, tries to get it on the Captain. Captain takes 150, but that's all he's going to take, and he's not going to go down. Laz is finally going to get cleaned up by Starkey, so Starkey can join his team. And 7 maybe looking to create something here, maybe some sort of force play as Captain does go in, and he does get the force onto Ascent. Now they need to do the exact same thing or back out, because they are going to get pressured by 100% Uber advantage. Bot mode setting up the traps. There has been a rotation by 7 through Cafe. They're going to be using their Uber right now. They're going to be on the chase. Cadus in onto Slemnish. Now trying to get in. He's trying to go behind, but the Stickies are completely denying him, but he's done so much damage to the Ascent combo. But there's no one there to help him. And whilst that happened, I don't know what happened to poor Laz, but he killed himself.
I guess he just got chip shot by someone and
just gave up,
taking a bit too much damage. Cade is doing a little something sticky pull through the cafe there. But Captain going in really deep on his skis, hits one rocket, but that's it. Slemnish is still on Sniper here, and I don't think he's even been able to get a kill so far. Just no one has beat him at all.
What is
Still
this
in great
push from 7? Like, they've lost so many players. They lost literally everyone. They didn't get anything as a result. They didn't even get the force. And now
Flash spawning on Sniper here, actually. Oh no. Decided against it. So we'll be entering possibly a stalemate. Sent to have at Uberat here, but as I guess with the Sniper, there's no way they can really use it.
Yeah, Sent looking to get a frag from Slemnish. Slemnish taking a lot of damage. He's not popping off like he was on Gully. Like,
Yeah,
he hasn't really connected.
Much harder map really to snipe on outside of like last. He almost gets the shot.
Gets the shot, but with 2 players down, Slemnish and Laz, that means that 7 can start making some plays. Captain looking like he wanted to bomb in, but takes a bit too much damage. They're looking for the rotation on the left-hand side. Kados looking to bring his team in. They're all playing on top of Tetris right now, and Ascent deciding that they are a lot stronger, keeping themselves in a really good place, and 7 are having to back out as a result.
Yeah, again, it's just the stalemate. I'm guessing we're going to be seeing like Laz go in pretty soon here. Don't know if he'll like he's standing with skis. He's just waiting at the buff. I think Laz has. Oh no, he's going Cafe side. Okay, he has been doing some like jump that like he can like surf up through Valley and get super high, but I guess he's opting to just play a bit more passively for now. It's 1-1 right now, and we do like 7 minutes left. There's still plenty of time for multiple rounds here. Jay actually went in instead of Laz. That gets a lot of damage there.
Yeah, and as this is going forward, there has been no real return until I say there hasn't been, and Slender does go in, but bot mode just pipes him instantly, and he is going to get cleaned up, and maybe another play coming out of the Ascent group.
Yeah, Jay's going for a spy play here.
Ooh. We haven't actually seen Jay play Spy.
Yeah.
You mentioned that he's great on Sniper.
Unlike at least the last start, Sil just won't think to like spy check when he spawns. I've actually got Soldier in. Laz went in onto Raymond and got the force.
Oh,
so
that's
this
perfect.
spy play, I don't know, I guess either Jay goes for a back cap or he just tries to get a pick because
If he can get Kados, that would be perfect. Like, Kados would be a great pick right now.
On this would be huge, but he's got his Cloak and Dagger recharging in the corner here.
Yeah, he's going to be waiting, and 7 aren't the easiest team to backstab. Obviously, it being a LAN environment means that everything's a bit loud, and it's difficult to hear that decloak, but Jay being very, very, very patient, and he has gone. He's come in.
On Raymond.
Oh no, Raymond is going to get picked up. No, he missed it. He's going to go for the shot. No, he's going to get cleaned up. That was such a beef. And now 7 actually had to backpedal out. Slemnish going to get cleaned up by Kados, but that's about it. As Starkey maybe going for some of his crazy plays, decides against it, and they are currently on their last Kermit.
Yeah. I'm surprised. It looked like 7 were actually like ready to try and repush there, but they just couldn't quite find the space to get in. So now it's going to be all forward spawns for Ascent here, and Slemnish back up on Sniper again. Hopefully for him this time he can actually connect some shots. This sniping here, as I said earlier, like is so much easier than like any other part of this map. Like you've got you can get an okay angle on top. Like from Slemnish's path, like left side's okay, you can usually get a Soldier here. Top right you can get in on like NG Demo or the Medic. Then underneath you can get another angle on the Soldier on the left. So it's like way more options from sniping on the left here. Or just on last even generally.
Yeah, but Talash is also on Sniper as well, so he's going to be waiting for the Slemnish pop out, but Slemnish is actually crouched. Oh! Both swinging and missing. And
Yeah,
no connection
you
from
just
there.
see the edge of like the sniper dot on the wall there, just giving.
Oh, Slenta's going down to Slemnish, and he's looking for another frag, and he's gonna get killed by Kados, which is absolutely perfect. The 150 charged body shot from Talash, and then the follow up. But Kados goes down at a really bad time. Ascent and A are in a great position to actually take advantage of this. 7 need to stabilize, come on the left hand side, meet them as they're trying to go in, as bot mode is trying to get that space. So is Yai. And they're going to be sending in the bomb. They're going to be trying to get the force, and Laz doesn't manage to get it. Raymond only going down to 80 HP, and very, very lucky that they weren't punished by the Cadus frag as much as they could have been.
Yeah, I feel like they probably could have sent someone in a lot quicker. The last sniping gets the body shot on the bot load down. See, sniping out of last year is kind of difficult. Like, you can't really peek balcony because it's just really, it's just such a hard place to push as any class, let alone like sniper, which is really squishy. The shutter sniping there is better just because you can have one of your teammates open the door instead of you, so it's, you know, the deaths on their logs, not yours. But it's and then lower left is just impossible. That's just a dead zone. So Flash is going to be on the top right here from his POV. Switching and checking. He's did it twice now. He's just switched off to check if there's any off class. Still going in.
Slemnish is actually just like in. He is in very, very deep, and he doesn't manage to get any other frags. But bot mode's going to clean up that sentry gun, and right now, yeah, it's just it is very, very scrappy. Like 2 minutes left. We may be going on to a golden cap on this final round.
Yeah, I only just remembered that there's actually like 2.5 minutes left, and this is the third map of the best of 3, and it's 1-1.
And you know, golden cap at this time of night is like past midnight here in the UK, and these teams must be fatigued. I don't know about you, but I'm shattered.
I had a little nap earlier on just so I was a little bit more rested for this, but Slemnish is sniping on the top left here, but he will peek the Lash. He gets the body. The Lash just wasn't buffed for some reason.
Yeah, and
Raymond's like not that far away from him, so Laz might. They need to deal with this entry before they try and set.
oh, they get Salentas as well. Slemnish now actually bringing things forward. He is going to get killed by Cadus, but they've got 2 picks. They're going for the rotation right now. They may be going for some sort of force play. Jay, I thought that might have been another player, but it was Jay who ends up going down to some really good spams from Captain. And with 1 minute 20 left, this is the last attempt that Ascent are going to have, and 7 are going to try their best not to let them take it at all. Talash checking for those off classes, seeing that they're against the full cookie cutter, coming out on the pyro to try and deny it. And Ascent, what are they going to do to try and make this into a round win for them?
I'm honestly not sure, but they really need to do something. Like, this is like, they don't really want to go to the golden cap at this point. Just because, as you said, it's late, but also it's how hard it can be to, like, they don't know how mid's going to go, how they'll push second, so they need to make this work. But as long as Talash doesn't overextend here, like, if Talash gets an Uber here, this is like perfect for the Uber. Like, he's just denying everything with pyro.
Yeah, that's an absolute perfect play from Talash on pyro, completely denied it. 35 seconds left. No one dies, but it doesn't really matter, as they're not going to be able to push in, and 7 aren't going to try and push back into them. They're just going to wait. Ascent doing the rotation. I think Slemnish wants to take it lower. There isn't a sentry gun right now to deal with, but they are taking a huge amount of damage, and Slemnish needs it up. But getting the bombs in onto Salentas. Salentas is going to be the one to go down. The Uber has been used by Raymond, but it's going to fit her out in a couple of seconds, and we're going to get a repush as players start going down. Slemnish got onto Cadus. Cadus is going to go down. Left. They're going to. There's 5 seconds left. Get it. Ascent are going to get it, and they're going to go to the grand final. What a clutch from Ascent! What is this LAN? Why are people doing this to me?
That's how many games we've had capped out in the last like 3. That's
you know, don't get me wrong. I get it.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, really fun and energetic, but my heart can't take it. I just can't take this. We've had it so many times in Granary. We've had it on Sunshine.
I don't want to point fingers here, but right at the end there, when Raymond popped the Zuber, Talash was right next to him with like really low HP, and he just didn't get a flash on the point and just died. I feel like having the pyro alive there would have been like amazing to have, and he was dropped.
All I'm going to say is congratulations to Ascent. They've done something that not a lot of the people expected, which is beat out the EU favourites, and huge props to them. They played an amazing amount of Team Fortress 2, and they generally look like the better team.
Yeah, like it's a bit like the first map on Gully Wars, not so much, but like Snake War, they were just dominant, and then like like their Viaduct performance yesterday, but that was just like where Skis got a perfect game on like the worst medic map. Like, and then again here they're just clutching out in the last 3 seconds I think they had left on the clock. Like, they're just like, they seem at times just way more like cohesive as a team. They just seem to play around each other like a lot better. Shows why their track record in ESEA, they lost 2 games in 2019.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the games they actually won against was Froyotech, which is last year's winners.
Yeah.
So that's not a team to take lightly.
Yeah.
But you know who's probably not going to take this lightly either? It's going to be on Alice desk. We're going to be bringing it over to Turbo Tabs, Dum Tum, and Epley. How are you guys feeling? What do you guys think of this?
Dear me, what a game, boys. I mean, say what you will, say what sorts of EU tears we've got in the crowd. It was a great game to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a nail-biter yet again. Ascent NA coming out on top today, but only barely every single time here. Against Fein, 2 golden caps in a row, just barely winning out against 7. It comes down to the last seconds of the last map, so they can do it tomorrow, but it's going to be still a tough one nonetheless. They just barely got away with it this time. They got to look at the things that did go wrong for them today and not have repeated mistakes again.
Epley, walk me through that final moments of the game. I mean, by every stretch of the imagination, that shouldn't have happened there. Am I right?
I mean, theoretically, no. You know, it was an absolutely fantastic deny from Thalash. He, you know, denied the entirety of Skis' Uber. It was, you know, kind of a disaster for them. I believe they managed to just about get the gun, and then as they were kind of getting ready to do their little bit of a repush, obviously 7 would have been expecting the repush, right? Any team playing in that situation, they have no choice. They're going to try and do something. I thought it was a little bit questionable. I don't know if maybe they thought Ascent were going to push a little bit faster. I thought maybe a heavy would have been a good idea, especially because you've got that full Uber, that, you know, that's a big tanky class, which, you know, not only as part of the Uber, but post-Uber could be really, really useful. But they did stick with, I believe, 1 Pyro and 1 Scout. But regardless, it was just a case of, you know, they were expecting it. But even still, Slemish just kind of, you know, ran through lower. Salentis was the first casualty, and like Kermit did point out, losing the Pyro, like while the Uber's going on, is really, really disastrous. Before you knew it, it turned into a 3v3. Ascent NA played really, really well, kind of dodging, kiting around the point. They knew they couldn't dodge forever, but all they had to wait was that 8 seconds of that Uber, and then the second Uber faded, they just absolutely collapsed and just kind of, you know, really, really well focused on the remaining 7 players and, you know, capped it out with about 2 seconds to go. It was, I mean, I'm like slightly glad because my prediction did come true, but I was actually really, really hoping for a golden cap there.
Yeah. Well, I know people in the background think they're clever, trying to get in, but I've got even the clever thing. I'm going to bring up stats, and then you can't possibly be in the background.
Oh,
there.
brutal.
All right, checkmate, crowd. Okay, what can you see from the stats?
Oh
here,
my God,
boys?
Slemnish every time. He's actually genuinely, right? We talked about potential MVPs before. The more that land goes on, the more I think Slemnish is going to be up there. Like 28 for 9 again, right? He is like significantly above anyone else on his team in terms of damage. He's wild. Wait, bot mode got 3 frags? That can't be true. Is that true?
Wait, what?
Yeah, he
Oh
was
my.
like on the low end of the scoreboard for quite a while, but to bring it back to Slamnish, how many of those kills did really matter in the end? Because there was this really long stalemate toward the end, and they had him snipe a lot on other points as well. And they struggled a lot compared to Gullywash, especially to really do anything of value with the sniper picks they had on Sunshine. So
Yeah.
he might have gotten a lot of picks and damage with that, but the team overall was really struggling to do much with that. And then for like a little while, the Sunshine last situation looked like the polar opposite of the Snakewater last situation that 7 was in.
Yeah, it did feel like, you know, 7 had a really, really solid hold, and it did seem time and time again the Ascent NA push to kind of, they couldn't really find any opportunities in. Like I said, they kind of got headshots here and there, but, you know, it was a bunch of really, really weird issues, and kind of, you know, it's like they'd get a pick, and then they'd lose a guy, and then you get another pick, and then you can't really commit forward because it's like 4v5. It's all kind of things. I kind of want to point out as well, to me it felt a little bit that, you know, Slemish, he's got great stats there, but it felt like maybe him and a couple of the other Ascent players, it seemed like they might have been a little bit nervous. There was a couple kind of little twitches you saw from their POVs, a couple of times where Slemnish would kind of unscope kind of just before taking a shot and things like that. I feel like they definitely felt the pressure that game. It was obviously 1-1 for the longest time, and that kind of builds up the pressure, but I think they also were thinking like they really, really wanted to win this to get to the grand finals.
Yeah. Before Twitch chat crucifies poor bot mode, I'm just going to say that he did disconnect, he did time out at one point, so that's probably why the stats are a bit weird with regard, because there's just no way that it's just
You wouldn't have thought so, would you?
Yeah.
Something that stands out, actually, now that I think about it, is as well as last map, that Celentis, again, just kind of like lonely, not really getting too much done. Sure, Roma, if you have a bad KD, usually it's like damage done and other sort of things you want to look at, but it's still not that impressive for him, especially for standards that a player like himself would have, right?
Don't worry, boys. Dr. Turbo's here. I'm not only just a host. I've done some analysis in my days. This is just typical safe TF2. This is when you get into those high points at the end of a tournament and you're like playing everything safe. You lose one pick, let's go back. If we, we take a scratch, let's give them point. And that's why you see a lot of high deaths on the roamers. They're the only ones that ever risk things in these sort of like stalemate environments. So overall, it looks like quite low deaths. And apart from when it comes to the roamers are just being thrown in. Are you not impressed? No? No claps?
Yeah,
no
but very nice, Turbo. I mean,
Thank you.
Thank
you.
After a certain point, unfortunately, the way that TF2 goes sometimes is when there's a bit of a stalemate and you're not quite sure exactly what to happen. A lot of the time you do end up just bullying your Roman, just saying, jump in. You'll get him this time, buddy. You'll get him. We did see a lot of that, but we saw a couple kind of slightly more creative things. We saw a slightly disastrous but well-intentioned J Spy.
Oh no. I forgot about that moment.
It does happen. To me, it felt like it was obviously incredibly equal. I think it made sense for it to go to a golden cap. I thought it was incredibly equal throughout. And honestly, like Ascent NA can take away the fact that they absolutely can rival 7, if not beat them on this map. I feel like 7 can take away, some positives from this, saying, like their Sunshine is still good enough to beat these top American teams.
All right, let's take those additional stats, please. Very good. Let's take away those additional stats, please.
Thank you very much. Wow, that was a...
Yeah. I don't think there's too much to go into on these stats at all, but I'd love to get some medic stats. But okay, I'll humor them. No, thank God. Okay. All right. So this is the meat. I think this is probably the greatest way to kind of determine what went wrong in the sort of transitioning points of the game, and I'm actually getting not too much, just a few little advantages lost here and there. There's a big advantage lost at one point, but I guess that's just because such a huge amount of time would be passed during some of these stalemates.
It's quite unfortunate that deaths after charge is one that we're unfortunately missing here, because that's usually one I really like to look at. It often tells the story either how last pushes go, if you like try again and stuff fails, or just exchanges on other points. Like how safe your team can play around the fact that your medic needs to stay alive. And there were a lot of exchanges around mid to second in this game. And Raymond kept getting caught off guard. The silver lining for 7 was that they always had a plan B. They always had somehow get a scout behind. Flash or Stark, doesn't matter. Somehow one of them always ended up behind and got the equalizing kill onto Skis in the end. But Raymond died a lot in these exchanges, and they had so many good opportunities, as well as just uber pushes into mid, where they just tried to go deep every time. And different circumstances every time just made it that 7 really didn't catch a single player. Sentinel really aware of the situation and got everybody out in time every single time. And just these sort of exchanges over the course of the game, 7 had so many of them, and he got so little out of them every single time.
Yeah, it seems weird. It's not really 7's calling card. I don't know whether they decided to try something different specifically to try and shake things up, or maybe they're testing things, or maybe they genuinely just thought in the moment that made sense and they can look back at it and be like, I don't really know, we should have committed that much. Like you said, there were some great little moments where Starkey or Thalash would kind of, come up with a lovely little kind of surprise meat shot and kind of just about to get Skis in the end. But obviously, ultimately, that shouldn't really matter. You shouldn't be losing Raymond at the end of the Uber anyway.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. That has been our analysis for the entire game. So with that means 7 has been knocked down into the low bracket. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. And we've got Ascent.NA reaching a guaranteed spot into the grand final. So we will be seeing them on the main stage, but we still need to see who's going to see them in this upcoming low bracket. And I guess you'll find all that out tomorrow, because that's where we'll be covering it all. But don't worry, we're not just going to go straight into it. We'll have a little quick review of the day and just go through the best bits and whatnot. But before we do that, we'll maybe go to an ad, maybe even go to a video. We'll see. But you'll see all of us guys back on the desk in just a few moments.
But now, they are getting the exact opportunity that they needed. They're leaving one player to cap as Alien runs into last. He's taking this 1v1 against Adalos. It's not going to work out. Mular now going for some desperate swords. All the rest
Yeah, but
of
the players are coming back in.
themselves into last. Karnak
Adalos
just
goes
needs to
down.
take
Oh, no way! What is it with Granary and I-Series?
Oh my god.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Unless he hits an astonishing amount of revolver shots, he's not going to be doing much. Yite also dying. That being said,
which he is doing!
Oh my god!
Oh no! Jay takes down Seeds with the revolver!
Just walks in and shoots him.
And they're all straight in. The Ubercharge pops off immediately. 4 frags already for Ascent NA. Classy getting taken down by bot mode as well. That's the round, that's the map for Ascent NA.
And with that little video, a quick recap has been made, and we've been made aware of who's going into our final rounds. And I'm not seeing any surprises here, gentlemen. Are you?
Maybe not so much in what happened, but how is definitely very surprising. We saw Ascent EU takes it over. Who was actually the opponent?
Top 5
Suns, right?
yeah,
in their lower bracket game, and sure, you'd expect them to win that, but if you look at the logs, it was surprisingly close. First map went to top 5 Suns, I believe, 3-1, and then another nail-biter, 3-2 to Ascent EU. I think they even had to manage a 3-round comeback to even win that one in first place, to finally have a convincing scoreline on the last map, 5-1 win on, I don't remember the map, unfortunately, but it just shows that they have like improved so much over that one series of games, and that makes all the difference. Today we have the best of threes, and that's where consistency gets rewarded. That's where improvement over time gets rewarded the most. Yesterday, you can just get a taste of what's to come as both the spectator and the players, and now where all your experience goes to show.
Now, equally, we've had some surprises, we've had some not so surprises here in this day 2. What's been like your biggest surprise that you've been watching throughout the day?
I feel like I'm a little bit biased because it was the one game that I actually casted, but I really feel like the top 5 comeback against Aura was like wild.
That is delicious TF2.
Yeah,
I've not seen it. Oh my god.
I've not seen like a complete like, I don't know, 360, 180, whatever the correct phrase would be, like that in a very, very long time. Like a team just getting absolutely kind of pounded, and then suddenly they're just like, okay, shoot the medic.
I wish it was a 360. Imagine if they flipped it round and then they lost it.
They just lost it. Didn't even matter. No, that was like super sick. But obviously, like there was a lot of games, kind of, you know, both on stream and like off stream, which was like really good. I really enjoyed like the very first game of the day. It was great, kind of seeing the bus crew obviously come up from the open group and, you know, start kind of playing against some of these top 8 guys. And it was nice. It was nice to see them kind of play at least a couple teams. Obviously, they were just that little bit below most of our big boys, but it was good to see them kind of, you know, throw their hat into the ring and kind of show that, you know, there's a reason why they kind of, you know, were formed for this LAN, and there's a reason why, you know, they're so good.
Dum-Tum, you're somewhat of a TF2 historian. Is this LAN going into the history books? Is it just like a phenomenal LAN already at day 2?
Definitely. I mean, just looking from day 1 alone, you have all these close matchups where if you try to apply circular logic about who beats who so they can beat another one, you just don't get anything close to circular at all. You probably just get no shape at all. So it already started out everybody just being able to contest each other, and it stays this close. Ascent NA barely coming out on top for today, but every single time it was close no matter what. Ascent EU coming out kind of weak out of the first day and still managing to power through regardless of how close it was. You have the Frenchies who had a really tough time yesterday. I talked to Olga a bit. He was disappointed with their performance yesterday, said they threw a bit more than, you know, should ever happen, so they recomposed themselves and had a comparatively really strong day today. They beat the bus crew in a really close series. They had a really close game, eventually getting knocked out by top 5 Suns in 3 maps, I believe, as well. So everybody is just stepping up to the task this weekend.
Equally. Today's been great. Why is tomorrow going to be better?
It's a bit rude to say tomorrow's going to be necessarily better. Today had fantastic upsets, fantastic kind of really interesting stuff, but ultimately the average quality of TF2 tomorrow will just be higher. We will have our top 4 teams. They're going to be playing exceptionally. We're going to have 4 pretty distinct play styles battling out against each other. We're going to have 4 teams of just genuinely like the best players TF2 have to offer worldwide. It's going to be, it's weird. Obviously, we know one half of our grand finals. But the other half, it really isn't set in stone at all. I think most people, you know, would be thinking, oh yeah, it's going to be 7 back in there again. And I feel like there's a decent chance that's going to happen. But I mean, they've got to work their way through at least one opponent. I feel, at a guess, it's most likely probably going to be Feint. And I think that best of 3 is going to be grueling for them.
Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I will see you tomorrow. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'll see you, all of you. You've all gone, but well, I'll see you all tomorrow. So, yeah.
That guy's still here.
But thank you very much, Dum-Tum. Thank you very much, Equally. And, of course, thank me. But, yeah, well, thank you guys for tuning in tomorrow, where we'll continue the low bracket run and see which one of the EU teams will face off against Ascent.NA in the grand final.